What's happening, everybody, and welcome to the world premiere of StreamCast, a show where we watch the latest and greatest TV shows and movies on streaming services with you guys. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the bro with the most below, Sheps. How's it going?
It's going great. We're like, I'm pretty sure we can say the flagship show of the FPN.
People just don't know it yet. This is what they're going to be tuning in for every week. They're going to be like, as Ballways, something like that.
That's right.
For support beam network.
I don't know. No one knows.
And then
the foundations.
Like, StreamCast. There you go, guys. That's the one. That's the one right there. And don't worry, we'll get you all t-shirts, all the paid people out there. Of course, yeah. But we're not alone here today.
That's right.
We thought our first episode should include one of the four pillars, one of the guys who's negotiated to purchase our product. They've paid us to be here on.
They have paid us. I mean, they say acquiring, we say we're bailing them out. No, we haven't come to an agreement yet, but
we gave them a product so they don't die in the water.
Exactly.
They're now floating. We decided to bring Tyler Tynemite over here. How are you doing, bro?
I'm very good, very good. You made the right call. Obviously getting Australian dial-up internet connection for your first show.
We didn't think that through.
Yeah.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're getting the captain of the four pillars.
That's right.
So
Kangaroo Jack.
Kangaroo Jack, the captain.
Kangaroo
there
Jack,
we go.
That's right.
The captain of the Four Pillars community, the father of the Four Pillars community, many
That's
say.
Right.
And it's just, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. Launching this network has been, I honestly believe this, at the time we're recording this is the night before the launch of the network. And I had a conversation just now with David, and I said to him, I think this is the biggest, tomorrow will be the biggest day of my YouTube career so far. I think that launching this network will be the biggest thing I've done by a lot, and I'm beyond excited about it. And I hope that this first day has been received with the trailer and the Four Pillars podcast. But what I love about it isn't just that I get to do shows on it that I love, but there's also shows that I would love to listen to that are on it with people that I love to listen to. I never fucking tell these dickheads this, but I listen to their podcast.
Yeah, the Eagles,
I love
cool.
having a laugh.
Yeah, the best podcast out there.
The reason they do so many fucking podcasts is because I told them to do one, and now they have 7.
You gave us
and
good
I said
advice,
one,
and we took it to heart, okay?
One.
Tyler forced us into making 6 or 7 podcasts.
That's right. That's the way we're spinning this.
Yeah,
I will say it's funny, though.
Yeah,
and I promise we will get into WandaVision, but, we're all genuinely mates. We've met in real life. We've known James since he was literally a sperm.
Yes. True.
I mean, he hasn't grown much bigger, but he's older now. Ethan has been a subscriber of ours since 2011 or something. We know these guys, and we had always said, wouldn't it be cool to one day be able to do more than the odd collab video once every year or something, right? And now we get to do it, and frankly, it's something I'm really looking forward to.
Dream come true, right?
Yeah, and it's always good fun to watch your mates grow and succeed and have good things happen to them. And we've had a lot of that recently.
Yeah,
and I'm really, I mean, not Tyler.
No.
I said mates, right?
Yeah.
I did say mates.
We said friends.
Yeah, friends.
He's not a friend. He's an acquaintance.
Yeah, a business associate.
Yes, that's right.
Your boss. Yeah. No.
Let's not.
Are you familiar with how a hostile takeover works?
Exactly. We're taking over from the inside.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's been the plan. Get inside Tyler since the day we met him.
Yeah.
Right. It's not the fact that I recruited you and producing your show and am your boss.
I mean,
that's not.
This guy.
Is that
this
not been
guy right
mentioned?
here. Listen, watch the credits afterwards. See if Tyler's name is mentioned anywhere. Not at all.
So, this is StreamCast,
yes,
a show where we're going to basically review and talk about and just nerd out about the best stuff streaming right now.
Yeah.
We are kicking it off with WandaVision.
Yes.
Before we get into it, we do have to do the YouTube shill thing.
We do.
This podcast, along with all of our content, is made possible by the incredible people over on patreon.com/conversations who make this all happen. And so you know the drill, right? Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the FPN by now, what
are you doing with your life?
Right, come on. But something that is entirely free and I love to pimp because it's genuinely the coolest place to hang out. our Discord, which will be linked in the description.
Yeah, all of those will be linked in the description. You'll
Yeah.
have the 4 Pillars one. You'll have our conversations one in there. It's just a place with cool dudes. We have cool conversation about all kinds of stuff.
Entertainment, right? Like gaming, movies, shows, anime, the important one, anime, of course. And if it's the coolest place to hang out. You do have to survive the hazing when you join. But other than that, like, it's the coolest place to hang out. And it's one of those things where, like, if Twitter goes down, Twitter went down. YouTube went down, frickin' Google, always YouTube. Discord goes down, I'm lost. I don't know what to do with myself. So I wanted to genuinely pimp that because it's the coolest place. You need to be on both of the community Discord and the conversations.
Right. And also, if you do like the stuff that we do here, we do have our own dedicated channel where we have all kinds of other shows and stuff
That's
like
right,
that.
we're YouTubers.
That'll be in the description. Combroplations. We have a gaming channel there, Gaming Podcast. Sorry, True Gamer
That's
Podcast.
right.
You can go check that out.
So, enough shilling.
Yes, that's right. We are going to be
WandaVision.
reviewing the first 4 episodes of WandaVision, which as of today came out 2 days ago, the last episode. And we're going to wrap that up. From this point forward, though, we'll be doing it episodically.
Yes.
It'll be every Tuesday coming out. You guys can look forward to that. So this episode is going to be run a little bit longer than those episodes will do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have a good conversation. Top level impressions on the first 4 episodes. We'll let Tyler speak first because he's our guest. That's all he is really.
He's
to
a
us.
guest on the FPN as well. So,
How did you feel about WandaVision in general now?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's Disney are doing it different, right? Like with their streaming service.
Yeah.
Netflix in general launch with their seasons. Their season will come out. So like all 10 episodes of a show will come out. Now, I actually really miss the old way where it was week to week because it made it last longer. Like the Game of Thrones was the last big show that everyone has been waiting week to week to watch, right? And that was the show that was always like everyone was getting hyped for it, and you talk about the last episode, and it was like a part of every year when Game of Thrones on. I love that. I love week to week shows. I think it's underrated. I actually, as much as it's great, and I'll take it when you can binge it, I am a big fan of the week to week platform.
Me too.
Now, here's the other thing. Because streaming is such an interesting way of delivering content, it's also changed the type of television content that's produced. And WandaVision is one of those. So it's actually funny because I think it's a show that shouldn't be week to week and it should be.
I agree.
I actually think it's almost made like that show, even though I love that it's week to week. Because the first 2 episodes you watch on their own and I'm like, hey, look, it was fine. And I know there's more to come, and I'm already invested because I'm such a big MCU fan. But on their own, like, it was just sort of nothing. It was nothing. It was actually weird and not hugely interesting.
If you had the whole thing to binge,
questions.
then you would have had the whole picture, and you'd have been like, okay, I understand how that plays into that, that goes into this. But by itself, it's just like, okay, this was cool, but I have so many questions, and I don't know much.
I actually want to ask a question to you guys.
Go on.
I think one thing that this show has done, which is absolute genius, is the run length. It runs at like 28 to 32 minutes an episode. They managed to cut out all the fluff that normally goes into these like weekly episodes.
Yeah.
But at a time where like it's easily bingeable. You know how like Rick and Morty or something is so easy to just have on in the background, or Archer, because they're 20 minutes. You just blast through them, right?
Yeah.
So these are quick, and you could binge a whole season in a day easily, right? If once it was out. But you also get a full meal. You're never left hungry by how short the episodes are. And I think that is absolute genius. And I don't know if it's that big of a deal to anybody else, but to me, it's something about how quick they are, not being like 45 to 50 minutes, but still feeling like it, getting that same contentment, that same amount of entertainment in. It's pretty genius. And I'm going to give it like a solid 8 so far from the first 4 episodes. 8.5, I'll give it. Yeah.
Damn, there we go. One thing I did mention as well, guys, we're going to be watching this along with you guys as well in who are watching at home, and we'll be asking at the end of episodes and in our Discord server as well for you guys to write in so you guys can do stuff. We're also going to take some video submissions as well, which we have one of already. So that'll be quite cool right there. Does any of you guys have any sort of connection with the old like sitcoms and stuff like that they start off with? We're boomers, so we could say that, right? So,
we're boomers.
Yeah. Tyler, do you have any connection with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've seen shows like Bewitched, The Brady Bunch. I grew up. One of my favorite sitcoms, actually, Full House.
Full House is a classic. Does anybody know I Dream of Jeannie?
That's an old. It was
I Dream of Jeannie.
I Dream of
Yes,
Jeannie.
I do.
Yeah, I love that show as a kid.
Yes.
So I have this thing of like, remembering old shows like old westerns and stuff. I think I've told this on the movie club thing where like as a kid I'd have this like at my grandparents' like barely color TV sat like on the floor with my feet up against the radiator because the room was cold but the radiator was hot, watching like I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, and then like a western would come on, and that's how and like Star Wars and VHS and stuff like that, and that's how I grew up. And so I love this. In fact, my very first note here is that the first intro, it's like I hope we get this every episode. And I'm disappointed that we didn't.
It progressed. You're like, it's gone from there. Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say when I saw like the Bewitched nods and stuff like that, and I was like, my God, what? This was an era that I've almost forgotten in my life, and it just brought all those memories back, and it was really good. And like you said about the fluff thing and whatnot, like where some of those shows they didn't have anything else to set up. Oh God, you're dying live on camera. Oh God.
But think of the AdSense.
If you die, don't worry, we'll shill it to everyone. Don't worry, we'll shill. It'll be live on
stream the funeral.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, where there was maybe a tiny bit of fluff in those old shows, they've now replaced it with the deep mystery of what is actually going on behind the curtains of WandaVision.
It's like an episode of Black Mirror, but really slow.
Yes, exactly. And that is actually going quite slow. Yeah, it is quite good. But hopefully at the end of this, we'll get that nice payoff and we'll be like, oh my Jesus.
Honestly,
step Jesus.
Honestly, I'm already at that stage with the first 4 episodes. I think now this show is fucking kicking off. Like, I think the best move would have actually been released the first 3 episodes.
I agree with
that's
you.
true.
To start with, because
the 4th one is the one that makes
the way
you go,
episode
what?
3, the 4th one's the big one, but episode 3 was really good and ends in this cliffhanger way that you see what we're leading to.
Yes.
You don't just think you know where we're going. It really is like, hey, look, this is our show. This is what WandaVision is. The first 3 episodes really gives you what the show is. The first 2 only feel like gives me a taste, whereas episode 3 really gives you the full package of, okay, this is what WandaVision is. And at the ending, you get, oh shit, okay, I really want to know what's going to happen next now. And then episode 4, I had fucking chills in that
4's
first scene.
really good.
It kicks the
good.
fuck
So
off.
good.
Episode 4 was tremendous. And I can't wait. Now it's like, episode 4 has made WandaVision. I'm like, holy shit, this is a must-watch show.
Yeah,
it
agreed.
went from being an interesting show, I want to see where it goes, the first 2, to the third one being like, okay, intrigued for sure, I'm invested. Episode 4 is like, this is a must-watch show. This is spectacular.
You're missing out if you don't
This is
do it.
a spectacular show.
I also like how they so they could have done the standard. I'm guessing what they're trying to do again. It's very early days to tell, but it looks that way. That they're trying to set up another huge arc, like the first 4 phases of the MCU, where they're going to start off with something that leads in little seeds and little ideas, and then a massive payoff, a bit like Infinity War and Endgame at the end.
Yeah.
They could have started off in the normal way where they're like, okay, we'll just release the first movie like Doctor Strange, and then they have the post-credit scene and whatnot, and we probably would have been content with that because we don't know anything else. But the way they've started with this, where it's completely almost subverts your expectations, it's just like, we're going back into the 50s, we're going like, it's completely not the MCU that we know, really puts an interesting start to it, and just like,
I think there's a big play for Disney here, which is to start introducing like villains or leading storylines or any retconning that they need to do. Like, for example, there's a big problem I've had with Wanda, which I love Wanda, by the way.
Great character.
But Wanda Maximoff is a mutant and she's Magneto's kid. That's what makes her and Quicksilver. Yeah, in the comics. And I get that they use the Infinity Stone for this version of Wanda, but that's because Disney didn't own X-Men. That was owned by Fox, and now they have the license to it, and this would be a really good way to, without having to address anything in the movies, establish that the reason they used the Maximoff kids was because they were strong, they were powerful mutants and could therefore survive being like linked with this thing. So you can retcon in a way that only the people that watch it are going to know. You can lead into any villains or any major plot lines for the MCU, and it cross-pollinates, because if you want to know, like, well, maybe I do need to now watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I do need to watch all of WandaVision, because it's going to give me hints about who's the villain for the next Doctor Strange movie or whatever, right? Yeah. And it's a genius move if they do it. I don't know that they will, but I hope they do.
I think they'll want to, but time will tell. Yeah. Only time will tell.
Well, when you hear that, like, okay, there's going to be Marvel shows on Disney Plus, and they're like, we're making MCU connected stuff on the streaming service, you think to yourself, okay, what do you want it to be?
Yeah.
And to start with, WandaVision is such an interesting one, But episode 4 was when you go, holy shit, this is legit, like, MCU, like I'm at the cinema level stuff.
Absolutely.
That's what episode 4 was. So I think the first 2, you're sort of like, okay, I miss Marvel, but, like, I haven't, like, I'm seeing actors that play Avengers.
Yeah, that's the big
playing
deal.
different characters altogether.
That's the big deal for me, is like typically, and it's still almost the case. It's like if you're a movie actor, you don't do TV. If you're a TV actor, it's really hard to break into TV in movies. But here we have one of the Olsens.
Yeah.
Right? We have the cast, the main characters are the guys we saw on the big screen fighting Thanos in Endgame.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're in the biggest MCU film. They've had multiple entries. This is enormous. And they're doing this incredibly well-made episodic adventure, which I think is really good. And it's streaming, and that's one of the reasons we made this show, is likely to be one of the biggest things, especially with the calamity that's still...
That sort of amplified it. I mean, I don't know what would have happened. It probably would have still kicked off like streaming services.
I mean, shows like The Witcher and stuff have proved that it's...
Yeah, it made people subscribe to a service. But the fact that the calamity happened, it kind of pushed it even further up. It was like, okay, we're going hardcore.
Should we get stuck in?
Yes, so should we get stuck in breaking down these episodes? This is how we're going to format it. We go through all of the episodes, talk about everything that went on, and then we can talk about each bits individually as we go along. All right, so we start with episode 1. I could have sworn when I first started this, there was no episode names to them.
Yes,
but then last night I checked, and it's like, okay, now they've all got names there.
Yeah.
Strange. And this one's called Filmed Before a Live Studio Audience. And the first thing we see is the great MCU logo, and boy, is it good to have it back.
It is good to see it back.
Oh, the MCU logo is so great. And we start with Wanda and Vision arriving at their new home, married.
Yeah, and there's the classic, like, I Dream of Jeannie type thing where, like, Vision picks up Wanda, goes to the door, he phases through the door, and she drops. Like, I love little touches like that. They're so good.
It's good.
It's a great intro. I really do wish we had got that every episode. Personally, that's so my thing.
MCU, if you're listening to Disney guys, remake the whole thing just for Sheps so you can do one of these.
In fairness, like, I think it's episode 2. There's an animated one which is Bewitched.
Yeah,
and I love that as well.
That's so great. So
yeah.
Great. And we go for they come in for the first time. We get to see them living in their brand new home.
Yeah.
What made me really laugh is that because it's a 1950s show, Wanda has pointy boobs. Because they've
Does
given
she?
her,
I didn't notice that.
I was like, they actually went full on. Okay, she's got pointy boobs. There we go.
Of course, you would fucking notice that, Eddie. Though, of course you would.
Look, I wasn't noticing it on a sexual level. I was noticing. I was like,
you have
of course, 1950s.
Missus and a daughter. Get your fucking
one
life
thing that
like, holy shit.
One thing that I really actually liked a lot is that the all the stuff she moves around the kitchen, it moves quite janky in the exact way the show's looked.
Like it's on strings, right? That's
even though she's Wanda, she could absolutely do this like it's an MCU thing, but it looks like a sitcom of this style looked.
Exactly.
And I really appreciated it.
It was really, really cool. Next thing they do, they're in the kitchen. They notice that there's a mark on the calendar, the 23rd of August, and there's a heart there. And neither of them know what the hell it's for.
So, am I the only one that went back, and I want to know in the comments, am I the only one that went back and checked like what date the snap happened in like the comics or in the movies, or when they aired or anything?
No.
It's not. But I was like, I bet this date is like a hidden symbol. It's like a sign.
You went full nerd on it.
And then by the halfway through the episode, you realize it's just a nothing date.
Yeah. They just picked a date. They were like, this is good enough. Vision, while they're trying to think of it, they're like, oh God, what is it? We don't know. And they're both acting like they kind of do know.
Yeah.
They're like, of course, the date.
Well, if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you.
It's super important to us as a married couple.
Yeah.
It's big for us. And they both just don't know what the hell it is. Anyway, Vision goes off to work where he works as a computer.
Yeah.
Essentially, the computer works as a computer. He's at some, what was it called? Like some data analysis thing where he's just punching numbers and whatnot and stuff like that. And they make all kinds of like jokes to him being a computer and crunching numbers and whatnot. And, He's trying to play the facade that he's actually a human, and one guy says, "What are you, a machine?" And so, no, I'm a perfectly normal human with organic bits. Yeah. And it just cracked me the hell up. Eventually, he does figure out that his boss's name is Mr. Hart.
Yeah.
And then he comes out and he says, "You guys ready for dinner tonight?" And that's what they realize.
Yeah.
That the heart means dinner. With
It's an
Mr. and Mrs.
abbreviation.
Hart.
And then, and this is the bit that I was waiting for, he calls Wanda to explain, and Wanda already knows.
Wanda already knows.
She knows what it means. You
It's
don't
okay.
have to tell me.
I'll have everything set up when you get home. And in between this has been happening. What's the character's name? I didn't write it down.
I forget. I actually want to say, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way. I feel like every woman in this show is utterly gorgeous, and if not like a stunner, just has like big milky mummy MILF energy, and like girl next door type thing, or like if she's not that hot, like a Slutty 7 kind of thing where she's got that energy to them. Every single woman in the show looks amazing.
Beautiful. Great
Yeah,
stuff.
just different
That
styles
nosy
of the thing
neighbor-
that you.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought was the best character the first 2 episodes. Like the first
yeah,
one,
she's
she
so
was-
good.
Like I was.
She
She's so good.
plays the character so well.
It's so good.
I was like, this
Yeah.
is great.
And
she
you gotta
was the
watch
one I
out
was
for her
talking
husband
about.
Ralph though.
Oh yeah, her husband Ralph. Oh, the way that she does that, like she makes those not dad jokes, but like very bad jokes.
Yeah, yeah.
But then winks to me like, "Oh God, you're so adorable. I love it. I love it so much."
She's really good. I also really appreciated the scene later on when they're making the dinner,
Yeah.
where she's Wanda's trying to get her to leave, and is constantly like trying to like dance her out, but always doing the screen time thing, because that's what those actors and actresses always fought for, was the screen time on the show. So if you notice, she doesn't turn her away from the camera every single time. She turns towards the camera and like walks the long way around the kitchen island and stuff.
It's very clear that they did their good research on like old sitcoms and whatnot.
I really like her as a character whose name I forget,
Her name's Catherine Hahn.
as the
Oh, her
character.
Nosy Neighbor is her official name.
Is Nosy Neighbor.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. There's no other name, but Catherine Hahn's her
really?
official
Just-
name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
that's what it's got
wow.
here anyway. On
Okay.
IMDb, it's just Nosy Neighbor. They haven't given her a name, or maybe I'm just not.
She is named.
You reckon?
She does give her name. Yeah, she introduced herself when she. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal.
But just for like flavor.
There you go. So yeah, she basically gives her some advice as a married woman, how you should comport yourself, and how
Yeah.
you should be in a relationship, in a brand new married relationship. And Wanda just sort of takes it as all like, as a new wife is, just be like, oh, I don't know what I do, so I guess I should take this advice from someone who is married.
There's kind of like a fourth wall break in a sense where, and I don't know if anybody else caught this, where she's like, just gives the eye roll to all this weird like good wifely advice, like how to be a good housewife stuff.
Yeah.
Which I find, I don't know, like it's nice that the flavor's in there, but it also like that the modern Wanda is still present,
Exactly. Ains is her name. I've just looked it up there.
Who?
The nosy neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just call her Ains.
Ains.
She gives her the advice and gives her also some food as well to cook for like. Oh no, so that comes later. My
Yeah.
apologies. Gives her some advice, and it's basically how to please your husband, basically, and how
Right,
to
yeah.
how to satisfy him in the bedroom and whatnot.
I mean,
And
Tyler, do you agree with the advice that is given to Wanda here about how to please your husband?
what does he know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Well, he wouldn't know how to
He's
please a
100%
wife, but
right.
please your husband, like
Yeah,
you said,
please
he
your
would
husband.
know all about
Yeah,
that.
he does the-
Yes,
tricks
well, that's
that
why
can
Sheps
catch
is
you
asking
and-
me, because it's like, okay, Tyler, you know how to please your husband. Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, the right thing to do is
Good stuff.
What I do for my husband is I clean the dishes, I shut the fuck up, and I
There you go.
make sure there's food on the table when he gets home.
you go,
That's
there
what
you
I
go.
do.
Good.
But I'm a good husband, and I know what Daddy likes. Okay, that's what happens. So that's the way.
Jared
it
is a lucky man right here.
That's
Jared's
right.
a lucky man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
And then, so she gets preparing, and she basically prepares herself.
She prepares. I think so. Wanda still thinks it's like an anniversary, but she's not going to admit that she doesn't know what it is. And there is that great line of Vision says, "Well, what is it?" And she's like, "Well, if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you."
Yeah.
But she also doesn't know. Assumes it's an anniversary, and so she gets dressed in like, what's that called? Not lingerie. Negligee. Is that what that is?
I guess.
It's like a sexy nightgown or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, essentially.
With like
For the
romantic
times.
candles and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then Vision comes home with his boss and his wife, who by the way is the mum from that 70s show.
Yes.
And I love her from
She's
that.
great. She's great.
And then they have to go around like how to explain his wife functionally in like bedroom wear.
She's European.
She's Sokovian.
She's Sokovian. That's just how they dress over
Also
there and whatnot.
The comedy of her like putting her eyes around someone who's nowhere near Vision's height, nowhere near his build, and wearing glasses, and not noticing.
It's like, welcome. Like, that's how we welcome people in Sokovia. That's how we do it, right?
I thought it was really funny.
It was really funny. Anyway, at the last minute, she realizes, or Vision explains, like, no, the heart was for dinner.
It's an abbreviation.
With Mr. Hart.
Terrible abbreviation.
That was the worst thing. It's like, and she says, she makes a joke. It's like, you can like travel faster than the speed of light, but you decided to abbreviate this. Like you can do super speed. You don't need abbreviation. God damn it, whatnot. Anyway, she gets into the kitchen, changes herself up with using her magic, and she gets Ains to give her a couple of recipes and some food so she can make actual dinner for the boss.
They've previously made the joke that Vision does, or the observation Vision doesn't eat, which explains their empty fridge. So she doesn't actually have food. I guess do we ever see a woman eating in these old shows? I don't think we do.
I don't know.
But so there's no food in the house, so she needs Ains, nosy neighbor, to bring her around like a turkey, lobsters, that she's just going to all cook at the moment. The turkey I love, where she's like, I need to cook it. Oh, I went too far. Pull it back. Pops into eggs.
Oh, no, I went back too far. Oh, God damn it. It's good comedy.
I thought it was good visual comedy for sure.
What happens next?
Pretty much, she manages to get a full English maid.
Yeah.
And they start eating and things aren't going super well. Like the boss and the wife start asking questions like, what's your story? Where are you from? Why did you move?
Yes.
And here is our first sign that like the veil slips.
Yes.
Where like they keep adding this weird, really socially awkward pressure of like asking and asking and asking and asking. And neither Vision nor Wanda have a response and they seem both quite confused.
It's almost like they have a gap in their memory almost. As well, like,
right.
Well,
and the boss starts to choke.
Yes.
And the wife starts with like, oh, stop it. Like, stop it. He's joking. And he goes red-faced, veiny, and falls over. And she's still like, stop it. Stop it. Oh, stop it. Interestingly, though, you can tell that she's getting more distressed.
She's like, stop it. Stop it.
Right, but she's still.
It's also like almost like uncomfortably her doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's like it just didn't feel real. Like even she was like putting it on. Like she seemed zoned out of it. He seemed like he was beyond choking. The whole scenario was just so creepy. And don't forget the camera angles for the first time in the episode changed to close-up shots.
Yes, they do.
Right, yeah.
And that was the big key for that scene where you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what's actually happening? This is like where you go, this is some Black Mirror shit, is what I was thinking.
I agree. Like the shots change, the temperature of the room changes.
Bit of sound design as well, a little bit of eerie noise in the background.
And Vision doesn't have a response. It's an unscripted event.
Do you know when it's true, exactly. This is almost like out of the show's script.
Right, and the only person that can affect any of this stuff is Wanda, and she has to make the decision to continue with the scene or to Vision to change the script. At this moment, did you guys have any, because obviously theories start to go wild when you first see the first like break from the TV reality of this and whatnot. When I first saw this and I saw that she was almost begging Wanda to like stop this almost. Yeah, she's asking Wanda to stop this.
Stop what's going on. And then Wanda just sort of like, well, Vision's looking, he doesn't do anything. And then Wanda sort of says, Vision, stop. And then immediately he hops to it and does it. I was like, immediately I thought, is this like a prison almost? That she's got these people locked under her abilities, her powers, that they must comply with everything she's saying or else suffer some next consequences. Yeah. And she was almost begging the prison keeper, the prison guard, saying like, please, like, stop it, please. Yeah. And then Vision, we still don't know who the hell Vision is because we know real. Vision's dead. Well,
he's not there.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen.
I'm telling you.
But you're telling me. Oh, sorry. Yeah. You speak with the guys over at Disney. My apologies. There you go, right there. I'm like thinking, what's happening here? Is he? Because I have one possible theory, which is very loose, and I'm not banking anything on it. That maybe she's imposed the Vision look onto someone else as well who's locked in there. When you say no, you don't know.
I'm telling you, Vision's the only one that isn't really there.
As I said at the beginning of this, that's a very stupid loose theory that I'm not putting anything on, so don't take that to the bank. but he's acting almost independently. But then there's that one moment where you think, okay, he's not independent, so maybe it's just a projection. But at that point, I was like, are they all a prisoner in her prison right here, her reality prison that she's made?
So
and that was the first time.
Did you have any do you have any theories that you want to share now, or did you have any theories for when you at the time you were seeing this? That 3-second pause.
Is he still there?
He is.
Tyler?
Sorry, you guys cut out for a second there. There.
We were asking if did you have any theories at this choking scene about what was going on, like in the universe that we were seeing?
Yeah, no. Honestly, like I going into this, I just thought the whole thing was because, like you said, Vision's the only one that's not there. I think that's what's probably the most likely thing here. What I think at that stage when I was watching it was, I just assumed because Vision's clearly dead and not real, that everyone's not real.
Right. So I didn't put any theories
together. I just thought
definitely not.
Yeah, obviously. Whereas I wasn't really thinking about it. I was like, but when that choking was happening, I just sort of thought that it's a part of her sort of consciousness and her mind's like falling apart, like, because it's just because it's not real and it's her like creating this, that because she's not stable, that's why it's falling apart, not because they're real people in a prison. I just thought, like, this is literally, she's so unstable that even her wanting to create this fantasy can't sustain itself. That's what I thought. Yeah. So it's not until those later episodes it becomes clear that, holy shit, these are real people
and that's
trapped
better,
in here.
that's
and then
way
the
better
question
writing
becomes,
as well.
Who is Vision? What is Vision? Is he real? Is he not real?
Yeah.
And we know he's not real in the sense of it's Vision alive, but is it just a figment of her imagination that lives in the world? Or is it somehow a multiverse thing where it actually is Vision taken from another universe? Or
that's a theory as well, because I think there's supposed to be, there's supposed to be a tie between Doctor Strange, and the next Doctor Strange movie is the Multiverse of Madness, so that's a possible theory out there as well. If they go with
that original theory that they'll seed stuff for the movies.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah, originally I thought it was kind of a coma thing, or she was like grief catatonic or something. I do like the fact that she's kind of imposing this reality on a town, which we find out in the late season.
No, but you're wrong, it's okay.
No, but I'm definitely right.
No, you're definitely wrong.
The interesting thing is that I think this Vision, by the way, if there is a baddie, I bet you're both wrong. Okay. I'll tell you mine.
But that's wrong, though.
No, I'm definitely right on this. This Vision,
is it annoying? I'm sorry.
This Vision... No, but it's only annoying if you're actually right. No, it's okay. But you aren't. This Vision, I think, is not a real Vision from any other universe, unless maybe they tie something in. I think she's recreated Vision from her memory of Vision, but the interesting thing is, this is Vision. Okay. While he's here, he's alive, and the risk is going to be, she can set people free, but Vision dies again. Because this is Vision that she's like recreated. While he's here, he is real. It's his personality is here again. And because I guess that's true love's kiss, the kiss of true love's power, right? Like it's actually him. So she's gonna have to actually say goodbye to him to let this thing go. That's gonna be the key. So it's not a different Vision, it's her Vision that she's forced into reality. But then what happens to Wanda?
Reality. Like, what's the consequence? She can't come out of this the hero, right? Like, she's doing this, like, she's the bad guy.
I mean, I would say it's kind of like sleepwalking would be my guess. The way that will make Wanda not the villain is that she went into this thing, because early on she doesn't seem to know that she's her version of her, but later we get the glimpses of it where she's like, you know, when you start waking up from a dream and you try to keep it going, I feel like episode 1 she's dreaming. Right. By episode 4 she's like trying to maintain the dream. Right. So I think we'll be able to get away with it where it's just like slap on the wrist, Sokovia Accords kind of deal. Yeah,
it's tough because she did, other than I say maybe Pepper Potts, actually I think more. She suffered a lot from the fallout of the Infinity Saga and what went on there. So I think if the people that know the story, the Avengers, are gonna kind of give her a pass on it. But there is the rest of the world, and the rest of the world beforehand as well didn't really like Wanda Maximoff. They're like, she's basically kind of a nuclear warhead. Yeah, exactly, right. So we'll see how that unfolds, and that'll be an interesting storyline to explore.
So basically, moving on, the boss falls over choking. Wanda changes the script and tells Vision to, go on this course of action, and he like phases through, pulls the food out.
Yeah.
And then the show gets back on track, which was that, of course, it was a fantastic dinner.
Yeah.
And of course, that he's really impressed with Vision. And of course, we'll talk about that promotion I want to see in the morning. The promotion in the company that they don't know what it does.
No.
We didn't know there was a promotion. It's back to the old sitcom.
Yeah. Straight back to script. And
they all lived happily ever after.
That is pretty much the end of the episode, except they have one little bit at the end where they zoom out of the TV screen, and it opens out to like a modern today's day set, and all we see is someone close a book with a pen, a TV set, and then a symbol with a circle and a sword going through it. And we're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it almost at that point, I thought that maybe she was being held captive in that TV world, and these people were observing her from the outside.
She
and whatnot.
could be.
That's what I thought. I think at the end of that episode, I thought I was like, oh right, so is this an experiment? Like, are they doing this to her? Or is this like some sort of multiverse test? Are they trying to break through realities right now? Like, is that what's happened? That's probably what I was thinking at the end of the first episode.
Or even like we said, she's like a major terrorist. They found a way for her to live, quote unquote, but not be able to affect the outside world and ruin everything and stuff like that.
Is it this next episode where she hears the voice on the radio saying, "Who's doing this to you?"
The next episode.
So it is possible she's being manipulated. In my opinion, the best writing is she's here for her. It's totally her. I think that's the best, because it's going to make, if my theory is right about Vision, her having to say goodbye to him so much worse, which is going to be a payoff for us emotionally. It is possible she's being manipulated. There are a lot of theories running around. Does anybody have a theory about if there's a bad guy, who it would be?
I have a theory, and it plays into actually starting off with your one, where it is she made this world, but in the end it's actually going to be someone else that jumps in afterwards. So Mephisto, there's the MCU isn't a carbon copy for the comics and whatnot. They take a lot of liberties and they go in different ways, but they do take certain aspects and they go, we're going to run with that and whatnot. And there's this one character that his soul gets broken up into 5 different pieces and spread out in the universe and whatnot. He tricks another person. There's Mr. Pandemonium, another character, to try and find it, telling him it's actually your soul, so you better find these, but really it's his soul. Right. And in the comics, Wanda manifests his energy from the universe to create her 2 babies, and actually on accident uses 2 pieces of Mephisto's soul to create those 2 babies.
Okay.
So it's possible that later on he goes, "You've got my soul," and comes after them.
Right.
That's my theory going
That's
on.
That's a good
now.
one. Okay.
But that's if they go after the comics. We've said before, they don't always do, so it could totally be something
I've seen
else.
a few people on Twitter told me that they thought it was Mephisto as well.
Yeah.
What about you, Tyler? Do you have any theories about if there's a bad guy, who it would be?
No, I don't. I don't have any theories. I honestly don't know a lot about Scarlet Witch and Vision in terms of comics. So a lot of this is new to me. So I
had to do the research. I didn't know much at all.
Sitting back and enjoying it. I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to know too much more. Like I have got what I've got at the moment. Yeah, and I'm really enjoying it. Like I've got my theories as they come, sort of thing. But I don't know. The only thing I could sort of gauge if you're going off past MCU type things is when I look at, my favorite superhero movie of all time is Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and you've got the whole bring down of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then I see Sword, so I'm like, I looked at Sword. I'm like, okay, they've introduced. We know Sword's been coming, and we know that's happening. And you've got this, survive the blip director of Sword now, and I'm just like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? He's the one that sent, one of our heroes off to find this thing that he heard about randomly in another state, and go check it out. It's not something you normally send people on, but I want you there. Why does he want people there? Why is he so into it? And like, is it Sword behind it? I don't know.
No, it's Hydra.
That's a
that's
a thought I've been having as well. Yeah.
I'm not joking. It's Hydra.
No, but that's wrong. It's possible, because that's been the through line throughout the whole first phase, right? So
it's been the through line to the first 3 episodes. Seriously, is this a bit? I'm not sure, because I've mentioned this. No one has seen this apparently, unless it's so obvious. No one else has even thought to mention it because it's so obvious. In fairness, if the original thing of it being Wanda totally on her own, then it's just trauma bleed over from all the stuff that she suffered as a kid. But there's like multiple references to Hydra in this thing.
Go ahead.
The watch advert, it says Hydra 100 meters on the watch, and it's a Strucker, and Strucker's the scientist.
Yeah.
Strucker's the scientist that turned them into like powered people.
Yeah, Strucker will make time for him.
Great point.
And then in episode 2 or 3, there's an advert which is Hydra Soak, and it's talking about. It says, hold on, I got the quotes here somewhere. It says, where is it? Hydra Soak. The ad says, a world all of your own making, get away without going anywhere, find a goddess within, and in this little sphere, she is entirely in control of everything.
Yeah.
She is the goddess in the sphere. And there was one other thing, but I forget it now for some reason. There is one other thing. But I think it's Hydra. Also, the thing's a hexagon, 6 sides. There's 6 tentacles to the Hydra logo.
Yeah.
And I know about tentacles, being an anime fan.
Being an anime fan,
Right.
you know all about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That is a good theory. I could buy into that. I could definitely buy into that. As you said, it's so easy for it to be, the past traumas that she's had.
Right, the
to be
bleed over,
explain
yeah.
it. But it could very well be Hydra because it's been such a prevalent thing all the way through the
Right,
MCU
and
already.
like you said about Winter Soldier and stuff and the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D., Hydra gets into S.H.I.E.L.D.,
yeah.
right? Or is that Civil War? But Hydra is in S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra
Yeah.
manages to get people into really high-placed positions. And this guy who survived the snapping, he could easily be a Hydra plant. Yeah.
So that's the name for it. That's the one right there. They call it the blip. I'm like, come on.
It's the
That's
snap. We can
that's not great.
like this isn't some like MCU legally different IP. You can say the snap.
You can say snapping, right? Should we kick it into episode 2?
Yes.
Episode 2 called Don't
Yeah,
Touch
let's
That Dial. You are... so they're in bed together, and they're together but separately because this is a 1960s show. You can't
Married couples sleep in full pajamas, separate singles.
That's how I sleep today. I don't know. So you go right there. And Tyler with his husband. And we get the and
I sleep on the lower bunk bed. We have bunk beds.
Bunk beds.
Bunk
there we go.
beds.
That's good. I like
That's
that. Right
romantic.
There. That's romantic right there.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
they're in their bed and
I'm
they hear
always on
like a
bottom.
noise. Yes, you seem like a bottom guy to me.
Yeah. I just feel safer. Yeah.
Right.
The warm embrace and the warm breath on your neck.
Oh, God.
Anyway, we're going a bit far there.
I love how you're going to try and get this brand new channel demonetized on the second day.
I told them, I was like, hey, we can go full Inside Eddie show if you like.
You're trying so hard to get
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you.
Trying to do the old original content stuff. God.
It won't be that. It won't be that. Trust me. Ethan had a good crack at demonetizing us with the 4 Pills podcast yesterday. So you know,
I'm really looking forward to this.
This
podcast.
is going to be good.
Yeah.
All right, so the new episode starts. They're in their bed and they hear a loud
It starts
noise.
with the animated intro from like similar to Bewitched.
I think it goes before or after.
Either way, I love
whichever
it,
way.
yeah.
The Bewitched intro is damn great.
So
the first
good.
time I saw it, I was like, oh, this brings back memories. And
really
whatnot.
warm feelings. Yeah.
And they're in bed together and they hear a loud noise outside and she's asking, are you using your night vision to look outside to see what that was? And they're both scared shitless. They're like, oh,
There's
what's
like a
that noise?
banging noise, right?
Yeah. They're like a banging noise. And when there's a louder banging noise, she pulls the
He
beds
jumps
together.
into bed. He's a vibranium man powered by an infinity stone. He's literally invulnerable. He's functionally Superman.
Yeah.
And he jumps into bed and like pulls the covers up to his face. I thought it was pretty funny, yeah.
That's cute.
And then she and Vision's one line here is like always looking for an excuse to redecorate.
Sitcom stuff.
I thought it was funny.
It was good. It was good
Crack
stuff.
me up.
What happens next? Vision is practicing. So yes, they go downstairs. The next scene, they're
Well,
practicing.
the noise outside
sorry.
is a tree banging on their window.
Banging on the window. So nothing serious. Don't worry about it. WandaVision in the next scene, they're seen practicing for a magic act.
Yes.
They're practicing their magic, and they're trying to make it as fake as possible.
Yeah.
So that they can fit in the world that they're in
Yeah.
now. Like we actually have magic, but we can't actually use it.
The
Otherwise
point of the magic show is to be really obvious that it's not real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, I think Vision's like, don't you think people will see right through that? That's the point. We want to fit in there, Vision. Don't worry about it. And he's like a big closet, and she's like in the back part.
You've got
of
a big
it.
closet, don't you?
I'm still in that closet, in
Oh,
fact.
right.
So that's something.
yeah.
right
No, I came out a long time ago.
a long time ago. We're happy for you. We're proud.
Right.
Just we don't want to ever be in the same shower with you.
Speak for yourself.
And then they hear
Again.
They hear another noise outside after this.
Oh yeah.
And then she goes outside. She's looking further down, and she sees something sort of at the end of the driveway.
Yeah.
And she goes down to the bush, and there's this toy helicopter in the rose bush, and it's in color. The only thing in this world that's in color.
Yeah.
And it has the sword logo.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, it's really confusing. Also because remote control helicopters won't have been a thing in the 1950s or 60s whenever this is set.
Exactly.
And it's in color. Pretty major because so far the whole thing's been in black and white.
Exactly. Very strange what's going on right there. Did anyone have anything at this point? I was just like, I don't know what the hell is happening with that.
I had no idea about this.
I was the same. I had no idea. No idea.
No.
But I like it because like the tie-in of what's happening, it's so good, especially because how quickly you can absorb these episodes.
Yeah.
That question is not answered, but like revealed to you.
Yeah.
So quickly, but while you're so confused while it happens, and then if you're ever to rewatch the show, you're like, I see these little things they put in. Yeah.
Yeah. They see the toy helicopter, and Wanda. So at that point, is it Ains comes along and sees her and strikes up a conversation as a neighbor.
She brings over the bunny for the bunny out of a hat trick.
Yes, that's right.
Mr. Senor Hops or something like that.
Yep.
And then takes her to go to like the town busybodies meeting.
Yes, which is I've named her the bitch because she's absolutely
kidding?
awful. Yeah. Did you put
Wanda
that down?
and bitch chat.
I was like, Wanda helps the bitch at a garden party.
That's also, she's perfectly hateable in this.
Oh yeah, great character design.
It's really good.
Did you hate her as much as we did, Tyler?
Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty easy to hate her. Like she's just Karen. She's like 1950s Karen.
Oh,
like
yes,
it's like,
she's
I
the
just
alpha
love
Karen.
So I was thinking, yeah,
perfect description.
Yeah,
Right
she's
But we
the
do
rich
meet
Karen,
potentially the most important character in this whole show, Geraldine, who, oh my god.
yeah.
Anybody else, Geraldine?
I didn't strike anything, but did you?
Are you kidding? Geraldine in the next episode with the afro?
Oh, I love the afro as well.
Oh, that's
your thing.
she does it for me, man.
Anyone want to
does it
send
for me.
Sheps any waifu pillows? Make sure you put Geraldine on there.
Yeah. Give me a big milfy mummy anime milf afro chick. That's what I'm about.
Please,
with
The description is something, isn't it?
with
The
like
description's something.
tentacle monsters in the background.
Oh god, no. Okay, all right. Let's move on. Anyway, they're at the garden party and they're discussing, and they do have a conversation with Geraldine. She doesn't really know what's going on for a second.
So she says, I don't really know what I'm doing here. Now,
Yeah.
it's meant to mean like at the busybody meeting.
Yeah.
But did anybody else feel that was foreshadowing? So I had no idea, but I was like, that's foreshadowing.
I think I knew there because her character in the trailer, I remember seeing her saying the line of, I like, why are you here? She's like, I don't know. Like, and just, oh, what's your name? I don't know.
Right.
So it's just, there's a big part of it that I was like, okay, clearly this is a character that's, I just thought it was once again similar to when Mr. Hart was choking. That it was like just another part of the consciousness, like just it's not work. Or another part of Wanda's vision just falling apart because she's so traumatized. I didn't put together that it was someone real. I still didn't have that yet, and
it would be impossible to come to that conclusion
when you,
straight away.
Right?
There's someone else.
Yeah. Especially after that scene, it's when Vision's trying to hang out with his like workmates and they're all like excluding him. But when you look back at it, it's like it makes sense they're excluding him because it's almost like these guys are all trapped there because of this Vision person that they don't even like. So they blame Vision even though Vision doesn't realize.
Well, so do you think
like he doesn't know?
Do you think that for the most part the people know?
Yeah, so
because I think early on they don't.
It's strange because it's like it's later points as well. It's like they know what the situation is and they know they have to maintain the illusion, otherwise something might happen.
Right.
But then at the beginning, like you said, they're really into the characters. They're really into themselves. Almost like they don't know. It goes back and forth. So it's it'll be interesting to see.
My interpretation of it is that for the most part, until like episodes 3 and 4, where they're starting to like wake up, that they're in a dream, they just go through like on autopilot. But once something like particularly stressful happens, like your husband starts choking, then you can kind of wake up, force yourself into it and start saying like, stop it, like the wife was doing to Wanda, right? Trying to get her to stop this thing while having to maintain the act she's being forced to portray. But like in general, like those people at the PTA meeting, whatever it is, like the busybody meeting, like
Neighborhood Watch, whatever the hell is.
Yeah, like they're going through their lines as if they're those characters. Like I think for the most part, they think they are those characters. And it's not until something really unusual happens, like the bitch cutting her hand or hearing the voice that can like snap oh wait, I was dreaming. Who are you? Where am I? That kind of thing. Yeah. That's my interpretation of it.
At that meeting, they're talking, it's Neighborhood Watch Me. I wrote it down here. I just had a look now. Yeah. They're discussing like what they can do for the town and whatnot, but most of them just see it as a way to hang out. Really,
it's gossip, isn't it?
It's guy stuff. We want to hang out with the lads and talk some stuff. You know, it's cool stuff.
There's like that one bit about one of the guys who's been boasting about putting up a tree house, but it's a prefab. I thought this scene was really funny. You know,
it's typical like dads around a like barbecue type thing, isn't it? They give Vision gum. And he has to like play the part, and he's like, "Well, I'm a human, so I must chew like humans do."
Yeah. Oh, I don't eat. I mean, I don't eat in between meals. I'm a regular eating machine at meal times.
I eat all the time. Yes, when it comes to mealtime, yes, I do.
I feel like Vision would fail the Turing test. You know, like you're talking to a computer.
Yeah.
You know.
And he takes the gum, starts chewing it, and one of the guys smacks him on the back, and he swallows it.
Yeah, and it gums up the works. I put this, by the way, before the line came in, it gums up the works, and I was like, that is such a dad joke. Yeah. I can't believe I wrote it in my own notes, and then he comes out and says it. God damn it.
And you see like the animation of like proper cartoon style, the cogs inside him getting clogged up with a gum and stuff like that. And he essentially turns into drunk Vision. From that point onwards, it's so strange the way he acts.
This is the cut back to the ladies' evening.
Yes, that's meeting. Right. So they're talking, and
at that point it's just Karen and Wanda.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to lay out this one because we do talk a lot on Wanda? Do you want to lay it out here? Do you want us to take it away?
It's fine. Yeah, no, it's all good. Well, yeah. I mean, at that point, because I'm just sort of watching the episodes along as we're talking about them. Karen's just pretty much talking about how, she doesn't like Wanda or trust her or like she had a problem with her because Wanda's trying to apologize. I think we got off on the wrong foot. And it's almost like Karen, the bitch, is sort of like sees through the facade. Looking back, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
And
she says,
she's like, I don't believe you.
She gets all this stuff, Wanda to say, I don't mean you any harm or something like that. She's asking where you're from.
Yes.
Yeah. She questions the reality almost.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah.
And that's when we start to hear the...
And then that's when the radio.
The radio's like, Wanda, who's doing this to you, Wanda? Who's doing this to you?
And Karen wakes up.
And it's so strange. And then they're like...
But Karen also snaps the glass.
Fucking
and it's bleeding, but it's like actual color blood.
Color
blood. Color.
But then, boop.
Yeah, we snap back
everything
to reality.
snaps back to reality and everything's okay.
Yeah, whoop, there goes Rabbit.
Oh, there goes Mr. Was Mr. Hopalot? What's it?
No, I was quoting Eminem.
Oh, okay. Whoop, there
snap
goes
back
Rabbit.
To reality. Yeah, I'm sorry. I will not do that again.
That was awful.
That was bad.
Anyway, so they all get back to reality, and it's sort of like, okay, well, that was just
but it's back to the show, right? Which strange, right? I really appreciate. Is it episode 3 or 4 where what's her name? The one that calls me on a Mimir.
Oh, Darcy.
Darcy, where she spots that.
Yeah.
And I liked getting to see it from the outside, the continuity errors where Wanda's rewriting the show.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good way to handle it.
It was good stuff. Yeah. It was good stuff. Well, if it's Wanda, we don't know.
I mean Hydra, obviously.
Well, that's wrong. That's wrong. You don't know what you're talking
Mephisto.
about. Mephisto. We don't know.
Mephydra.
So I wrote down here, Strucker will make time for you, but I can't remember exactly how that was in the show. How do we see
that is the watch ad. So there are a couple. We see the first advert we see. The first advert we see is for the super sexist Stark toaster.
Yes, which sounds like a bomb, by the way.
Yes,
the way they describe it sounds like a bomb.
It really does. Which could be a reference. I mean, it makes sense for the Stark toaster to be there, right? Because Stark's been around for ages. Mm-hmm. It would fit. But also, her interaction with Stark was the bombs killing her family. Mm-hmm. So again, this is why the ads could easily be bleed over of like her trauma. But the next ad is that same douchebag saying, they say a man's not
properly dressed until he has a woman as an object or whatever, and his Strucker, and Strucker's the name of the scientist that
Strucker
works
will
on.
make time for you.
But yeah, Strucker will make time for you, and it's dive rated for 100 meters. That doesn't mean anything, but it just says it literally says Hydra on it.
Yeah.
So that's that ad. Yeah.
All right.
By the way, Drunk Vision.
yes,
anybody
that's
else?
the next scene.
Yeah. Anybody else find him freaking hilarious?
Oh, he's great. He's great. Paul Bettany, the guy, he's a fantastic actor. I love him a lot. I want to see everything else he's in.
he does like, you know how Hugh Laurie plays clumsy bumbling Brit?
Yes.
Well, Paul Bettany's actually good at it.
Suck on that, Hugh Laurie. He's watching right now and he's very
We know,
angry.
yeah. Sorry,
Very
Hugh,
angry.
don't cut your Patreon sub,
Yes.
you know, but
Have you guys
Need-
ever
need
seen
a
the
few tips.
movie A Knight's Tale?
A Knight's Tale,
Yes.
yes. He plays
Yes.
Chaucer,
A
right?
Knight's Tale. It's
Chaucer.
one of my one of my
So
all-time favorite movies. Heath
so
Ledger
good.
and it's Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany is
Yeah, yeah.
fucking incredible in it.
He's so good.
Incredible. And it's like
That movie's
it's like a
great.
near 20-year-old movie now, but it's a great movie. Heath Ledger, and it was the
Yes.
first time I'd seen Paul Bettany in anything. Like
Yeah,
as
me too.
growing up, and he just kills in the movie. So funny, so great,
It's-
and he works so well with Heath.
It's a great movie. It's a really good movie.
Really good movie. So we see Drunk Vision for the first time. He turns up at the town center gazebo, and he's like dressed up in his suit there, the tux that he's wearing
Yeah.
for his magic act, and he is all over the shop.
Yeah.
Wanda's in her outfit, and she's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? What's going on?" No, we don't have time for this. We have to put on a magic show, and he's.
I
Just
love how he's
doing
saying flourish. He says flourish.
Yeah.
It's
Not
great.
like supposed to add flourish, but I'm saying the words as well
Yeah.
for it. Anyway, he's completely hilarious and whatnot. Every act they try to put on, Wanda has to mask with real magic to make it look like it's fake magic.
Yeah. So
But
like
Vision
he
is
starts to
doing
fly, so she adds a wire to him.
Yeah,
He picks
yeah.
up, he goes, I'll impress you with a feat of strength, and picks up a piano one-handed, and she walks over, takes it away,
And
and,
it's a
then
cardboard.
turns and it's cardboard. She's like, oops,
Yeah.
you weren't supposed to see that, and walks off. Yeah.
It's quite funny that they're doing actual magic and then they have to mask it to make it look like fake magic with actual magic.
And then it ends up being a comedy magic show that's really funny.
Yes, it's actually
Yeah.
really good. And it's like, oh my god, you need to do that every year. Anyway, they pull Geraldine into this as well.
Yes.
They need someone, so they Vision closes the door on the big closet that they have.
Yeah.
But
Wanda's
Wanda was supposed
outside.
to be in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what are we gonna do? Well, what's the trick then? And then she just blips Geraldine in
Yeah.
there, and then they open up. Oh, Geraldine's in there. What a great magic trick! What a great magic trick! And then Geraldine asks, like,
Well, everybody's really surprised, and so she pulls back the curtains, and there's mirrors behind.
yes,
And what's that? Pam, whatever her name is, the chunky,
the
the chunkier, the Asian lady. No, is she Asian or like
I think she's
Pacific
Hispanic.
Islander or something?
oh, whatever.
Oh shit, she could be. Wow, this sounds really bad.
This does sound really bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Cut that from the feed, guys. Chop it in post. She goes, and I thought this was one of the funniest lines in the whole show. She's like, "Is that how mirrors work?" Yeah. And Karen's like, "Shut up, Pam," or whatever.
Her
I
name's
should know her
Beverly in the
name.
show. I just looked it
Beverly.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really funny scene.
It was really good, fun stuff. That was all very good, and they managed to escape the talent show without raising any suspicions
Yeah.
and whatnot. Everyone's cool like that. They get back home. They're very relieved and everything, and after having a bit of a chat, all of a sudden, boop,
Oh yeah.
Wanda's pregnant. She's like showing and everything.
Yeah.
No idea what's been going on. No idea what's happening. But
I actually want Tyler to lay out this scene.
Go
I'm
on.
curious to hear just how he lays it out.
how he puts it out.
Yeah,
right,
the Wanda being revealed that she's pregnant.
Are you talking about in the episode? Are we on episode 3 now?
Episode
episode 2.
Episode 2, they come back from the magic
end.
show. They go to kiss, and
Yeah.
like her belly bumps into him, and she's like 4 months pregnant or
Oh
something.
yeah,
Then they go to kiss, and they hear the noise outside.
yeah, right.
Yes.
For some reason, I just forgot about that. I thought that was in episode 3. The pregnancy came up. I totally forgot that came up at the end of
Episode
2.
3 is where we flip to the 70s. Is it
70s,
70s?
70s, I think it is. Yeah.
Where we're in color again.
Yeah. But they, she gets.
Let the upside down man have his time and lay out the scene. I'm just curious if there's anything he picked out about this scene. I'm not saying I did. I'm just curious.
Okay.
Because I like this scene.
I didn't pick anything out necessarily about this scene at all.
Yeah, it was just like she's suddenly pregnant out of nowhere, and it just doesn't seem to like, well, okay, well, this seems to be her reality. She wanted to have a family. She wanted to be married to Vision. This is her thing going on. But it was strange, and there was no explanation for it. We're
It's
like,
the noise
I
outside
wonder.
bit that's the bit that gets me.
Yes.
Which is where, like, we really see the veil slipping.
Yes, so there's a noise outside, and they both go to investigate, and it's quite nice as well, like the
Yeah.
way they're like protecting the baby as well in the shot and whatnot, and they see the outside manhole cover moving,
Yeah.
and then a beekeeper comes out, and there's
With the
bees
sword
everywhere.
logo all over him. What the hell?
Sword logo on his back, and then he looks over. You don't see a face, just a dark shadow in there, and you zoom in on Wanda's face. No. Rewind back to the moment where they find out that she's pregnant. Is this really happening, Vision? And Vision just straight goes into loving
Yeah,
husband.
back to the same line.
It's like, yes, it is. It's like they're just so in love together. That just completely got erased from that moment. So mysterious.
That's the first time that we start to think Wanda's probably awake, or like, would you call it lucid dreaming?
Mm-hmm.
In
But
control.
also, yeah, she's really in control. It's not just her subconscious working. Like, she's also doing stuff.
Yeah.
But also, and this is the reason that I think she has manifested Vision back into reality, and it's her power making actually Vision here, even though he kind of has to stick to the script, is that True Love's kiss brings color back into the world.
It's true. They kiss, and that's when the color comes back.
Right. She rewinds stuff because their kiss was interrupted by the noise outside. And it's the kiss that changes everything, because we never see them actually have any intimacy.
Yeah.
And True Love's kiss brings color into her world.
Yeah.
Right. And then to retcon the fact that there's color now, she has to change the time to the 70s.
Yeah.
Because now we have color TV. That was my interpretation. I found that one scene to be, I guess, a lot more impactful than I don't think a lot of people thought that deeply about it.
Yeah, I didn't at the time, but now you say it's quite interesting.
It could just be that the curtains are red
Yeah,
because
that
that's
is-
what the author wrote.
Yeah,
You
you're
know?
reading way too much into it, and you ask the author,
Right.
he's like, no, I just made them red.
Yeah, they're just red because I needed a color and I like red.
All right, yeah, so that's the end of episode 2 right there.
Yeah.
Let's move swiftly into episode 3, called Now in Color. They look like they've moved forward in time into like the 70s. It looks like a bit of a 60s vibe in it, but whatever, it's around that time.
Yeah.
There's color there. And she is definitely pregnant.
She's definitely pregnant.
Very much more pregnant right
Superman.
now.
And Geraldine, oh my God, with that afro.
Exactly, you're loving that. And the doctor tries
Oh,
to is checking. He's like, "Oh, how you doing? Well, let me just check." And he comes back and he goes, "Yep, you're definitely pregnant." And they're like, "Oh, thanks, doctor, for coming in and
That'll be
confirm-"
$200.
Exactly right there. And then Vision is really confused because the pregnancy happened in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
And he asks, "Is like, so, doctor, is there any way you could explain how this happened?" And the doctor, in the usual fashion, when two people love each other very, very much,
Yeah.
they're going to say, "Oh, that's so funny, right?" They're trying to explain sex to them. And what happens next? Vision goes outside to see the neighbors outside,
Yeah.
and the neighbor, the guy, I don't know his name,
Herbert?
I'll
Sean?
have a look at
It's
him
something like
right
that.
now.
I think that's what Vision called him twice, but neither one was actually his name.
Oh, okay. And he's just sort of like,
Because
I
it's when he
have to
was
react
drunk
to it.
in the magic show, he calls him by name twice, but neither one is his name. It's something like that.
For some reason, his name isn't on
Yeah.
IMDb, which is
Great.
pretty strange. Oh no, Herb. Sorry, here we
Herb.
go,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
Herb. Yeah.
And he's trimming the hedges and whatnot nicely there, and then all of a sudden he starts trimming through
Yeah.
the brick wall.
They're all NPCs from like Skyrim.
Yes,
You know?
following the script they've been programmed to do.
Right.
It's very, very weird and unsettling.
Yeah.
And he gives the usual joke. He's like, "Herb, I think you've overdone it a little bit with the hedge trimming there." And he's
Right.
like, "Oh, so I have," and continues straight through.
Right.
It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when in Skyrim you put a bucket on someone's head and just rob their entire store, take the bucket off. Hey, good to see you again.
Everything just got robbed. I don't know what happened
Right.
right there. Anyway, they decide, okay, so the doctor like gets out of there now, and they decide they're gonna get the nursery ready. Everything's going swimmingly. She's using her magic to get ready. Vision's reading baby books and stuff like that, preparing himself for human babies, because both he doesn't know about humans and babies at the same time.
Presumably human babies. What if they came out red?
That would have been something. I
Yeah.
mean, have they even had sex?
I think Fade to Black when they go under the covers
Right.
is like we can assume that it's not just like skin contact. And this is why I mentioned the kiss, because it's the first time we've seen them be intimate.
Yeah.
We assume they're intimate. They're a married couple.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's got like the most advanced rampant rabbit. Like let's be honest. Come on.
I can't be the only one that noticed it, right?
No one thinks that's not true. Everybody knows Black Widow's at least thought about the Hulk. Come on. Right? Look.
I'm not going to say anything.
Let's just
I'm
be
gonna
real.
laugh.
We're human beings with human needs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Tyler as well. Same thing.
So Tyler's definitely thought about the Hulk.
Yeah. So Vision estimates the baby will be here. He works out like based on geometric progression. It was based on
the baby's going to be here before you figure it out.
He goes, the baby's going to be here before you figure out Vision. He's like, I have an estimate. He'll be here in 3 days. And it's like, cool, no problem. It's
pretty rapid.
That's pretty rapid right there. And they also tried to come up with baby names as well. And one says Tom, and the other one says Billy.
Tommy and Billy. Yeah.
It's like good old American name. But Billy's like William Shakespeare. You know, like really. It goes well with it. There's a way to solve this. Let's hope for a girl. Funny. Get on.
No one wants a girl. Let's be honest.
No one wants a girl. Oh shit, my girl's beautiful. I know we talk about.
I love Isla so much.
And then in the next scene he's practicing changing a baby in super speed.
Yes,
that's
because
really
there's no risk to doing that at all.
No, you don't know firsthand that there's anything wrong with doing that. Say like with a BB in Death Stranding, for example.
Well, weirdly, that game has a glitch where if you just shake the controller really quickly to comfort the BB, it doesn't work.
It doesn't like it.
No, it goes red and alarms go off and the baby starts crying. It's weird.
He sets a new personal record, and just at that moment, Wanda starts to get contractions. And the whole house goes freaking mad. Yeah. Bubbles start appearing from the sink. The paintings start to flip around. The lights go on and off. And there's like a big power surge. And then there's like Vision, I thought you said the baby was going to come in 3 days. Well, everything's going a little bit faster. I knew at the beginning. I was like, that's not 3 days.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's going to be here way sooner.
It's been 12 hours and it's at 4 months.
Exactly.
But then don't we see her? She walks out from behind the kitchen counter and she's quite a bit larger.
Yeah, a bit
right?
bigger now. Yeah. Vision for also. Is it at this moment? So Vision for a moment here realizes that there's something wrong with the reality.
She has the contractions.
Yes.
Vision goes out to check if the neighbors have noticed.
Because the power went out.
Because the power went out.
Yeah.
And as he's out there, he bumps into Nosy Neighbor and Herb. And they're like gossiping and it looks like they've like woken up, or maybe the characters are only imposed upon them whenever Vision or Wanda are within a certain vicinity, something like that. If they're like the focus of the scene.
Tyler, let me know what you think of this. I thought that because she's pregnant and she looks like she's kind of losing control of her powers and everything's going all haywire, I thought that maybe her grip was being loosened a little bit of the reality that they're putting on them. And that's where they're starting to like notice things and starting to see a bit more.
I think now looking back, it's the fact that there's starting to be interferences in the reality from the outside that's influencing it, not necessarily Wanda losing control. I think there's so many people now intruding into it that they're noticing odd things, and that's almost breaking them out of their own...
Right.
You know, think about what Wanda does to people, like in Age of Ultron. Like, she managed to, mind control people and make them see things.
Yeah.
So that's what she's doing to these people, right?
Yeah.
And they're being broken out of their spell when things are popping in that shouldn't be there, because they're noticing that that's not part of the script that I'm being told in my brain. And then they're like, hey, what the fuck? So they're seeing, the beekeeper, the helicopter, they're noticing this person in Geraldine that shouldn't be there and doesn't make sense to them. And that's making them question things themselves.
Yeah, fair enough.
And breaking them out of the reality. That's what I think's causing it, not necessarily Wanda losing control. I think Wanda thinks she's in control.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's actually good theory about. I like that.
I also think it's this scene that cemented in me that this Vision is here. Like, he's not superimposed on somebody. Somebody isn't playing this character, right? Because a human body would be destroyed by like the super speed and all the stuff that he does.
Yeah.
I think she's manifested him, and it's actually him because he starts to question the reality, even though he's not here.
That's so it. If he's a projection of her her mind and her thoughts
Yeah,
of him.
it's his mind somehow.
He's having independent thoughts as well at that moment as well.
She's like recreated it.
It seems really strange. There
Yeah.
are some moments like I think in one of the moments I wrote here, it goes, Vision for a moment realized that something's wrong, and he says to her, it's like, this reality.
He's like, something's up there
something's
talking really strange, and
But beyond that, like, I think just after that bit, he talks directly to her and it goes, something's wrong here, isn't it? But not like something's wrong here. It's more like you know that there's something wrong here.
He's concerned.
But almost like it's her subconscious talking. It's so strange.
Yeah, and that's when, once again, for the third time we have now seen, is Wanda redoes the script. She's like, no,
she does the rewind. I'm so proud of this community. That was a really old YouTube rewind joke, but I'm gonna stop. I swear I will stop.
I don't say. I don't
Continue to give us your money on patreon.com/conversations. If you give us more, I'll stop the jokes. There we go.
The $500
just stop showing up. That would be great.
We'll just get Sheps out of here.
Shep's favourite part occurs, which is the next scene is Geraldine shows up with her afro. And Wanda's running around the house because she's just like, leak happened, power went out, like I need like a bucket. And Wanda's like grabbing the fruit bowl and covering up her pregnant belly, getting all these coats on, and they're switching between, and it's
she like manifests a real stalk.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
That
like,
won't
there's
go
so
away.
many different things that she's trying to avoid, and you've got this like classic clueless neighbor that doesn't know what's going on and can't, read basic signals, and it's just like, oh, right, you're busy, I'll go. It's like, no, I want to hear your story. She's like, oh, great, cool, I'll gossip to you for longer.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about my life.
It's a great scene.
While you're doing that, Wanda's like freaking out about the stalk that's running in the background while covering her pregnant belly with a fruit bowl, and Geraldine just doesn't get it.
And she also seems to have a contraction in the middle of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because she starts... yeah. It's great.
And she's just chewing on this apple, and it's not until she's literally like walks in and drops the vase of like flowers that she was holding that breaks, that she's like, her pregnant belly is revealed, and Geraldine's like, wait, you're pregnant?
Right.
Like, it's just this wild moment that she's like, can't believe it. Meanwhile, the doctor at the start of the episode is like, I'm going on holidays. Vision's run over, his car's not working, and picks him up and then super speeds him back to the house, while you've got Geraldine and Wanda, doing the birthing techniques and actually having the labor moment. But then it's the most ridiculous birthing scene in the history of television, where it's like, all right, ready to push, and then it's like, and there's the baby just pops out, and the baby's
and
definitely
it's like 4 months old.
A month old.
As a father,
for sure.
As a father, I could tell you that's exactly how that happens. It just pops out. Exactly, and the baby is completely clean as well. There's everything like that. Hair's done. I mean, it's a 70s,
and also there's like a blue cloth around the baby, like a blanket wrapped around the baby.
Yeah,
comes out with the.
And then it's like, oh, hello, Tommy.
But Vision comes in just as the baby's born. It's like, oh, I missed it, but they just sort of like, oh, it's okay, it happens and whatnot. And just as they're about to, it's like, oh, hello, Tommy, because they're like, oh, you named him Tommy Vision. It's like, yeah, for you, I'll do anything, baby. Just as about to kiss, the loudest, most freaky scream. Even Vision is like, what?
Twins.
And then another baby comes out.
Now you have Tommy and Billy, and then it's this big moment. But now, like, this is where the whole show turns.
Yes.
This is the moment after this. The whole show goes from, and so I think episode 1, 2, and 3 should have been released at once.
Big agree.
Because it's where it gives you, this is what WandaVision is. The first 3 episodes really gives you everything the show is. And at the end you have 2 conflicting scenes. You have Vision that's gone out, and the neighbors are out of character and questioning things. And then you go back in, and
also he speaks to the doctor.
The twins as in Geraldine and Wanda. Yeah, exactly.
And the doctor says small towns are so hard to escape.
Yeah, there's a series of really weird bits that happen. It's like, oh, so now you can make it to your holiday, your vacation. It's like, oh, you know what it's like, small towns, really hard to escape.
Yeah, and his eyes go like, oh, help. Yeah.
Strange.
And it's and then you have that moment that Geraldine, who's in this character and sort of under the control of the visions, no pun intended, itself, that Wanda's put on that space. But Wanda, talks about the fact that she's a twin. She's sort of reminiscing herself. She almost like, and it's almost Wanda's own fault. She almost pulls herself out of her own reality that she's created by she's thinking about her pain for the first time, and she thinks about her brother Pedro's in Quicksilver. and then that makes Geraldine, who's a captain in Sword, remember as well and go, oh, he was killed by Ultron.
Yeah.
And that's a moment that Wanda remembers her pain for the first time, and she's like, wait, what did you just say? And it's this creepy moment of like, wait, what the fuck's going on? And then you see Geraldine sort of turn off and like say, no, nothing.
You're such a
and
strong
that's when you
lady.
start to question, wait.
Also, like, Wanda...
Yeah, like, wait, what's going on? And you see the sword necklace for the first time. You realize, holy shit,
yes.
Geraldine's infiltrated the Vision. Like, this is the first time you realize, but I'm still thinking everyone else is fake. I'm just thinking Geraldine's the only real person at this stage still. Geraldine's the only real person that's entered this reality.
The thing
at this point
that I think a lot of people are going to miss if they somehow miss like Endgame, and this is like their first experience with Wanda and Vision, is just how dangerous this situation is and how ominous Wanda is right here. This girl can go toe to toe with a fully powered Thanos.
Yeah.
Fully Infinity Stone Thanos.
Yeah.
Toe to toe with him. I mean, eventually she'd lose that fight, but
I was going to
she
say,
beats the freak
all the
out
other
this
people
guy.
are afraid of Wanda, because you see like Herb's going to go tell Vision, and the nosy neighbor's like, no, don't say anything, because they're almost scared of Wanda, and then begging Herb, and she's like trying to stay back in character, and then Wanda sort of has that moment where she's getting into Geraldine's face, and then it cuts away.
It's a really scary scene if you know Wanda.
It's super ominous, especially because she was a bad guy at the beginning of when we introduced her as a character in Age of Ultron. She's working with Ultron, and Vision goes back inside. He's like, this is a bit weird, and he has some questions like, okay, who's Geraldine? But by the time he goes back in, Geraldine's gone. Wanda says, oh, she had to rush home, but
Vision knows she hasn't got a home.
Under control.
Yeah, she knows that she hasn't got a home, so it's like that's odd, right there. That was a very creepy moment, and that made me feel. It really made me feel on edge about this. I was like, this is a whole. What is going to happen? I was really worried about what was going on.
It just sort of ends with Geraldine blasting out of some like digital static air and landing on the ground. Yeah, right?
Blasting out of some
but
TV
static. But the thing about Geraldine is, the Geraldine that pops out of the Vision is Afro Geraldine from the 70s.
Yes. She doesn't.
It's not her that went in.
Exactly.
That's just how she is.
And that's where I'm like, okay, this happened. This is real people. This isn't like Wanda's taken over an area and this is all her creations. Whatever she's doing is affecting the people that are here,
I only thought that I thought that was at the beginning when I thought the prisoner thing and whatnot.
Right.
But what Tyler said just there, where like, because she had the sword necklace and whatnot, it could be that she's the only person that is real, and that even her being ejected, that kind of puts even more thing onto it to say, okay, she's the only real one, wasn't supposed to be there, that's why she was ejected.
Right, okay. I see that now.
But they do seem like they're all hostage in there. That's what they seem like. So they could be real people. But Geraldine had to go, and don't worry, Vision, we have our babies here now. And they grab them, they sit down, they have a beautiful last minute.
Is that how that works? When does she rewatch? This is how it works. We did it back to front. Geraldine leaves. Vision comes back in and goes, "Where's Geraldine?" She gives the weird excuse, and then from that point, it just cuts to them holding the babies in the credit scroll.
But then it also goes to the screen actually widens.
Yes,
like on Wanda while she's standing there. Like they don't have that sitting there with the babies moment. We don't see that until episode 4.
Is that right?
I think.
And then
maybe
like
you're right.
Like I'm watching it now, and then it widescreens out, and then it widescreens out to Westview sign.
Yeah.
And then Geraldine gets popped out.
That's it.
And then that brings us bang. We're back in episode 4, and which is the craziest shit. It's just an incredible episode.
Yeah.
Like the opening scene, they do that classic recap, but like literally the show starts. If you don't mind, let's jump in episode 4. I realize I'm jumping.
We interrupt this program.
But you just see these all these ashes coming together, and you're like, wait, what the fuck is that?
Are people being
and then
unsnapped?
you're like, we've seen enough snapping. We've seen enough fadeaways in our time as MCU fans. You're like, holy shit, this is what it looked like? Because we've actually, you got to understand, we've never seen what it looked like when people came back. This is the first time we've actually seen what it looked like
and the chaos
for the snapback,
which is super important.
and the chaos.
Yeah, I love that they
So
actually,
important, like in a hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're in a hospital.
like we've all had the questions
Like,
of like
the most chaotic
if
place.
someone was on a plane when they got snapped, do they come back in the air on the empty plane? Like, what happens?
I
Like, what
almost
if they
thought
were
she
in
was
a
in a plane
building?
at first.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, what happens if you were snapped away in a building that in the 5 years has collapsed and you come back? You know, like, there's all these questions, and I do like that they at least touch on it where she's looking for her mum who's supposed to have just come back from surgery.
Yeah.
And the lady, like, these are the repercussions of coming back 5 years later, the way they chose to do it in Endgame, which is, dude, 5 years have gone past. Like, your mum died 3 years ago, which was 2 years after you disappeared. Like, people you know are dead, and they aren't coming back because they weren't snapped. They survived and died later, you know?
Yeah.
And so there is the chaos in the hospital, her coming to terms with, like, she's back, but it's 5 years on. Things have changed. People are dead. The survivors who did those 5 years, like, they're all, like, PTSD'd out. Half of everything disappeared.
Yeah.
I thought at least they touched on it, which was nice.
They really shook them up.
It wasn't just a magic trick. Everyone's back. That's fine.
But it's such an important scene in the grand scheme of the MCU that we need to understand. Like this,
Yes.
the snap is the most important event to ever happen. It's 5 years that I want to see explored more, and I don't think it's going to be the last time we see different angles of it
Yeah, I
explored
hope
because
so.
it is so important, and it's launching, and the snap back is what's launching this next era of the MCU, and having this perspective of actually seeing what it looked like from a civilian point of view, a general person in a general area like a hospital.
It's a very
to see
cool
the snapback and the chaos it causes. It's a
very
great scene. It's one of the best scenes in a long time.
It's a very cool and rare moment in sort of all cinema and whatnot. This is something they could really play with, and I'm interested, like you guys said, to see how they do it in other movies and how they, because you're never gonna have anything where it's like some people disappeared, half of the world disappeared, half the universe disappeared for 5 years and brought back, and how you can make interesting stories out of that. I think they
Nick
should really use more
Fury
of that.
disappears in the middle of a main road in New York.
Yeah.
When he unsnaps in rush hour, what happens?
Yeah.
Right? The director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Great point.
It's gonna be interesting.
Hopefully we'll see it. I hope we'll see Samuel L. Jackson having enough of these motherfucking cars trying to run him over. He just comes back and screech. Anyway.
So when she comes back, it turns out that she works for S.W.O.R.D. We just see S.W.O.R.D. for the first time, and it is S.H.I.E.L.D. It's basically the new division of it. What it's become now. Her name is Monica.
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau, something like that.
Rambeau, yeah.
I've got it written later on down here. And a woman called Maria was her mother. And for those of you guys that didn't pick up, that's Maria, who was the woman in Captain Marvel, who was with Captain Marvel, essentially the other pilot.
Yeah.
She helped found S.W.O.R.D. She's one of the founding members.
It's S.W.O.R.D.
of it.
and S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Exactly. And she was the kid from that movie, all grown up now. So
Yeah.
that's who she was right there. She gets in. She tries to use her card after 5 years. Doesn't work.
Right.
I love the security.
I work here. Well, if you did, your card would work, wouldn't it?
Kind of. He's kind of got a point there. But anyway, the actual like leader now of the new S.W.O.R.D. and what comes up, it's like, actually she's got an appointment with me, no problem, go all the way in. Fuck, you've gotten old, by the way.
Yeah.
That's just one thing she says to him. And they kind of cut to the chase. They're like, look, you've been gone for a long time. There's no easy way to say this. There's no way to beat around the bush, but you're grounded. You can't do anything. You can just do terrestrial missions, they say.
Yeah.
And I've got you a minor gig right here. It's an FBI missing persons case and whatnot. Can you help the guy out? He needs some help over there and whatnot. And she sort of like goes, who decided all of this stuff? Well, actually, your mum put in these safeguards if anyone was to ever come back. Look on the bright side, she thought you'd be coming back. So, yeah, right there.
Silver lining every cloud, right?
Exactly. She comes back and she goes out to the place where the FBI is. And you see Westview written in the back over there.
Most important piece of character development. Did anybody else notice this?
What's that?
The FBI agent who learned the trick from Paul Rudd?
I didn't. No, go on.
Do you not remember this? In like Ant-Man, he's the FBI agent that comes to see him and he does the disappearing card trick. And the guy's like, how did you do that? And now, years later, he that's how he presents his card. That's why he does the flourish.
I didn't think about that.
So good.
I'm going to go back and watch that.
You should.
I just saw it. I was like, oh, he flicked the card. Okay,
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's why he does it.
That's really
so
cool,
good.
that is.
So the weird thing here? Because there's 2 cops.
So just before that,
Okay.
he goes with it. So what's the missing case and what are you? It's like, oh, I have an informant who I put in here. They're he's under witness protection. It's like, yeah, but also, and you can't find him. Not that I can't find him. No one knows he exists.
I called all of my contacts, all of his relatives,
all of
and
the
stuff.
known associates. We don't. No one knows who he is. It's like, okay, that's weird. And I thought I'd come here to check it out. But there was a bit of a wrinkle, and then they go over to the cops.
That's it.
And they're standing there on the back of their car, just drinking coffee and donuts and whatnot, right next to the Westview sign. It's like, tell this agent here what you told me. It's like, I told him I don't know anything about no Westfield.
Westview doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Eastview.
It's like, so Westview, and looks over to the sign. It's like, so Westview doesn't exist.
So here's my question to you guys. Do you think this guy is like, this is some elaborate stunt someone's put up a set called Westview? Or can he not see Westview? What do we think? What do you guys think?
I think I think he can't see Westview. I think he's been mind controlled to be like, this is
whatever
just an
Wanda's
empty
doing,
road now to go through. That's all it is.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I agree with that probably. I think you're probably right. And they probably can't see it, or if they can, it's like that FBI agent.
Yeah.
So what's his name, by the way?
What is his name?
Hold on a sec. I've got
He
the
is
IMDb
named.
listing here. Agents.
Agents
It's going to be well far down here.
Isn't it Freddie Wong or something like that?
No,
It's
no,
something
that's
like
that's the guy on YouTube. Yeah,
It's something like that, I think.
it's Wu. I think it's
Wu.
something Wu, but I
Yeah,
can't
it's
remember.
Agent Wu. I think
Agent
it's
Rodriguez.
He's just called Agent Wu.
Yeah.
Yo, Jimmy Wu.
Jimmy Wu.
Yeah.
There we go. Jimmy Wu.
I knew
Jimmy
that.
Woo. Yeah,
His real name's
well-
Randall Park, but
well,
they put him as
yeah.
Jimmy Wu.
Yeah. Well, I think what does he say? He's like, oh, the reason I haven't gone in is because can't you feel it? It doesn't want me to. Like, that's
Yeah.
the way he describes it.
That's the best line.
Creepy. I was like, it doesn't want me to. Can't you feel it? And then the sound sort of changes. There's a bit of like the weird music in the background. And then Monica looks up at it and just sort of like, goes into the back of her car, gets a drone out, and it looks all futuristic and cool and whatnot.
And in the same colours.
Same colours.
As that helicopter. But which is weird because it doesn't look anything like the helicopter. So totally different event. There's no way these two
Must be a
things are
different
related.
thing.
Yeah.
Flies it up, goes aerial view, keep flying towards the town. All of a sudden,
Yeah. Bzz.
disappeared.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, where did it go?
Through TV static.
It's like, oh, it was just there a second ago. And Monica goes all the way up to where it disappeared on the ground and sort of like puts her hand closer,
Touches
gets TV static on her hand.
Very Stargate.
Exactly. Jimmy was just sort of like, no, be careful there, agent. So be careful.
Sucked in.
Sucked right in. Pulls her hand in, she gets sucked in. He's just like, oh God, what the hell do I do?
Oh, golly gosh. And then this is my biggest beef about the show so far. This whole camp is set up in a day. Because he says later, it wasn't like that yesterday, or when she went in, she wasn't like that yesterday. Something like that. Right. There's no way all of this was set up in a day. And
it's sword. They've got unlimited resources, okay?
I guess
it
is
says
in
24 hours later after. So Geraldine gets dragged into the that reality, and then it goes 24 hours later, and then it cuts to the truck of which we have scientists from Thor, intern
Darcy.
from Thor that's now full-fledged, nuclear scientist, in the back of the car there, and she's just talking mad shit. I love her character development because she's not the intern anymore. She's she's super smart in her own right.
She got her PhD.
She's just making fun of the engineer, and she's just talking mad shit. Like, she's got so much confidence about her. So I love where her character's now at because we haven't seen her in many years.
She's literally worked with a god 3 times now.
Yeah.
So
she must have some experience now. So she figures out that all the other scientists are from a bunch of different fields, and noting that they don't know what the hell is going on. That's why they've got a wide array of scientists. And Darcy then goes into the tent, and she's again her confident self, talking shit to everybody, asking questions and whatnot. And the goon is just like, "That's classified information, can't tell you." It's like, that's really not helpful, but okay.
No, she instantly she goes, "What do we know?" What do we know? And she's like, "That's classified." So you know nothing. And the guy's like,
shit,
frick.
Quite smart.
This girl's worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. She knows what's up.
Yeah, the guy just doesn't know shit. He's just like, that's just random scientist. Anyway, she gets out her equipment, starts plugging it in, and starts to get some initial readings. She's like, whoa. Whoa. And apparently she's picking up CBMs, cosmic background radiation, she said.
Okay, you missed the letter there for sure, but...
CBM, cosmic background radiation.
Sorry.
Radiation does not start with.
Are you sure? I'm going to
pretty
Google
sure.
it 1 second. Let me
If you
just check
guys
that out.
are new around here, new to us at Conversations, maybe follow Ed on Twitter to find out how the English language is not spelled.
It's a lot of typos. You'll enjoy it. Go ahead and do that.
Whereas my typing is perfect.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so she's like, cosmic background radiation. I'm receiving a lot of it.
Yeah.
And she figures out that there's a lot of like, I guess she figures out there's TV static in the background of it all and whatnot.
Literally TV static.
Exactly. And she pulls up she's got like almost a scope that she finds underneath that, like a Geiger scope underneath the tab.
I'm going to say we'll just presume it's part of her equipment.
Yeah, she pulls it out from under the
in,
table, starts fiddling with some knobs, and she gets a rough picture of the first episode of the show.
This was brilliant. I loved the round circle of this whole thing.
And she's like, I'm going to need to get a TV.
An
old one, like not flat. And then,
By the way, just as we're talking about TV shows, this is how you do time things. Witcher, looking at you.
Don't know what you're talking about.
The Witcher time was so scuffed.
Because you just didn't know. It was just like, so this is the same time, right? No, it's not.
But this is clean. This is really slick.
Yeah. So after that,
she basically finds the show. She starts watching it as a sitcom, and her and Jimmy Woo start like asking questions like, "Why is it a sitcom?" Blah blah. And then they realize that the town is real and start figuring out who the people are. One of the things I really love, by the way, is they do it as like a missing persons case. It goes up on the board. They know Wanda, they know Vision, and they start saying it's like Karen Jenkins as bitch,
this person,
as Alpha Karen, you know. So I love that they're bringing them in as the cast, like this real person playing this member in the show.
And this is where we know that they are real people, that they are real people being taken in control of.
We see Darcy see the first rewind as a continuity error. She sees Karen cut her hand. Well, she sees that interaction, but what happens is there's a cut and Karen leaves with a rag around her hand.
This is the bit where they try to interact with the world. She has a theory. She's like, there's radios in there and they pick up signals just like radios do. So we could send a signal through into that area and maybe get our voice over it. Jimmy was outside by the truck talking. He's like, Wanda, who's doing this to you, Wanda? It does get through, but from their point of view, like you said, it just seems like it just cut to the next scene and then nothing happened. And they're like, oh, no, must have been nothing.
She's like, that's weird.
It's like mission failure, guys. Don't worry about it happening like that. There is also a funny scene where like the head of S.W.O.R.D. comes into the camp and is like, okay, give me all the sensors, all the specs, all the spectrography. That's not
I don't know.
one of those words. Give me all the information. Tell me what's going on in there. Everyone's completely silent. It's like, somebody give me something. And then Darcy in the background's just playing the show.
Yeah.
And it's just sitcom music. It's like,
with the laugh track and stuff.
And
I thought that was a really great way to, instead of having the discussion and trying to explain it. And this is what I appreciate about the show. There's almost no exposition.
Yeah.
We learn everything through experience, as do the characters, which is the way you learn things in real life.
It's mystery, isn't it, as well? It's like, because the guy asked questions like, how is this happening? How are you watching it? Like, what's going on? I don't know, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're also theorizing as well. Like, it's literally like us watching the show. Like, James Woo's like writing on the board. He's like, is Vision alive? ? Like, he's like writing all the questions like a fan would be asking, because they're literally watching the sitcom like we're watching the sitcom.
Yeah. One of the things, I paused it to see what was on there, and one of the things was, why is it hexagonal?
Yeah, they figured out that the dome is hexagonal and whatnot.
And that's one of it's thin, don't get me wrong, but my middle name is thin. Hydra has 6 legs on its symbol. It's a hexagon. It's like, it supports my bias. I'm going with it.
There you go. Well, with the 6 thing, no, that doesn't work. I was going to say, because that Mephisto guy is literally like the devil.
Right. Okay.
And I was going to think pentagram, but pentagram's 5. That doesn't work out. So maybe that's not right. Okay.
Anyway,
I was thinking on the spot. That's why.
We also see a few things. So like, they send the guy in the spacesuit down through the sewers.
Yeah, like a whole weird hazmat suit
Right.
thing and whatnot go through the sewers because they have the idea that the dome's probably surface level and it doesn't go subterranean.
Well, they don't know, do they? So
They don't,
test
so they've
it,
gotta
right?
try
Yeah.
it. So he goes through, and then we see the moment that he goes through and he turns into the beekeeper outfit, and you're like, aha, that's the beekeeper.
The harness connecting him to the outer world disconnects.
Yeah.
But whatever came through that little bit, that comes back as like a red and white skipping rope.
Yeah, it's very...
So she
Weird.
is changing reality
Yeah.
somehow, which kind of leads me to believe there
It's
is
the same with the
some interference
helicopter.
here.
Yes, they send in the drone helicopter, and when they see the pictures of it in the show, it's so different. It's like been retro,
Right.
to look like it's in that time.
Yeah, so it's interesting because she's changing reality and it's staying changed outside of the dome, right? Like
Yeah,
when
it
Geraldine
goes in,
comes out,
changes. When it comes out, it's still changed.
right? Geraldine
somehow.
comes out, she gets her memories and her personality back.
Yeah.
But she still has the afro. She's still in those clothes. By the way, I so hope she keeps the afro. That rope that gets changed into the skipping rope, it stays as that thing. So something's going on. That does kind of lead into like maybe it's Mephisto or something to do with Doctor Strange or something where she's getting a power up, because previously she's powered by the power stone, right?
Yeah.
So she's had the ability to like do basics like break stuff and be psychic, but she's never changed reality before. So that's a very interesting thing. What else happens in this?
Oh, by the way, something that I noticed as well, because when she goes in, she's in her full sword gear, Geraldine, when she goes in, and the thing around her neck is obviously her sword ID tag,
Right.
And that's the medallion that she's wearing when she goes
Oh,
in.
it's how she's identified as a sword member. It turns to
Exactly.
the sword medallion. Okay.
Because the other guy, the beekeeper outfit, he has it on the back of his thing
Right,
and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, so she went into this thing and she just has like a sword necklace? That
because
don't
we
make no
didn't
sense.
see her wearing that.
But it's actually her ID tag that turns
I didn't notice
into.
that.
It's quite an interesting thing. Right? So yeah, they ID all the people, and they try to use the radio.
And then
it doesn't work.
they sort of go through and explain, all the different elements that we've seen the last 3 episodes that didn't make sense. For example, the helicopter. It comes out and like, oh, this is what was going on the outside. Well, they're like, yeah, that was our helicopter. You see, the Agent Wu, use the radio signal when they're next to a radio to try to talk to one. And explains that. It then cuts to the tunnel where the agent goes through, and then he becomes a beekeeper, and we see it from his perspective. So we just see the other perspective
Ties
of
it all
all
out,
the
right?
things that have been going on that are strange, and it sort of almost goes through them one by one as we see them in the episode.
But there are other
and then they
people
realize
other than the
that-
main cast in the show.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then we cut to them sort of watching Geraldine.
Yes.
and then it's like the Doctor and Agent Wu like watching the show like they're fucking watching their favorite TV show, like eating popcorn and like crying because Wanda's having a baby, and like it's just like, what, I'm invested. Like, are you crying?
This guy,
it's just
Randall
so funny.
Park.
But then you have,
I love his comedy. He's
but
the
then
best.
you have that. But then you have that moment where you cut to that final scene of Geraldine mentioning Ultron. They're like, wait, is that the first mention to our real world? They're like, yeah, I think it is. But then, like, as she's like, who are you? That's when it cuts to the scene you're talking about where they're just holding the babies in the credits roll. That didn't happen in episode 3.
No, that's
just
that's the
now.
continuity error.
This is the
of
first
whatever's
time
being
we've
put
seen
out,
that.
right? So the rewinds are being seen as continuity
exactly.
errors, which is super interesting.
But then the best scene in the show happens.
Yes.
Because it cuts back to what we missed between Wanda and Geraldine.
Yeah.
And it's the first time we're inside this Wanda reality, but the screen widens, the pixelation of the old TV goes, and we're watching straight up Scarlet Witch in full 4K widescreen talking to Geraldine, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And it is goosebump
Straight
shit.
up, I was scared as hell.
When she pulls out, because one, you're in widescreen, so you've got the bottom bars of black on the screen, and all of a sudden her hands are under that black bar, but then
the
her
glow.
hands raise up, and we see the glowing powers in her hands, and you're like, oh shit,
She gonna go
here
Scarlet
we
Witch.
fucking go. This is fucking Scarlet Witch right now, the Avenger with her powers. Like, and she looks fucking mad. It looks like her when she's looking at Thanos saying, you took everything from me. It's scary.
Yeah.
It is very scary.
It's fucking scary. And her pretty much saying to Geraldine that, you know, you're a stranger here. You don't belong here. It's time for you to go. And then she just fucking sends her out. And then Wanda sort of looks at her powers and almost has this like regret of like, oh shit, what have I just done? Like, I need to get back to my reality. I can't be thinking about the real world, because you can tell she starts thinking about it.
Yeah.
So she quickly fixes up patches the walls.
It's the fixing up the walls bit. It's the fixing up the walls bit that's the most, I think, it's the most sinister, because this is Wanda knowing she's Wanda Maximoff, everything happened, what she's doing in the world she's in, and that she's going to maintain this, and she knows what she's doing to everybody else, and builds it back up. Because in a sitcom, if Vision just walked in and there was a hole in the wall, oh, whoopsie daisies, guess I overcooked the roast or something, right? They could come up with any reason, but the fact that she, right, but it doesn't matter because it's her world and it's a sitcom.
Yeah.
There's any number of stupid reasons to explain
accepted.
exactly. It would just be forgiven. But it's the fact that she hides it and masks it that's the most sinister thing. And then she reaps the reward for trying to maintain this false world when Vision walks back in.
And Vision does walk back in, and this time we see an alternate version of the
version that's in her mind.
Yes, exactly.
Her most recent memory of him.
And I noticed when he walked in, he looked odd in the blurred background character we saw. But I was like, what is that? And that was kind of made me think that maybe there was a projection onto a real person, that maybe it's falling apart.
Right.
But that was, again, so minor. I'm not even holding anything.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Like, there you go. Anyway, he goes, is everything okay? It's like, yes, everything's fine.
And she turns to look at him.
She had to go away. She turns around, and it's the dead Vision from after the Infinity Stones ripped from his head by Thanos.
And he's black and white. Like
it's weird than that. It's like it's grey, almost turned down saturation, not all the way. It's like a hint of red in there, but he's like it was when he died there. It's almost like the life had been sucked out of him, which was his colour as well. So dark. And it was only for a moment, but I had chills on me. I was like, oh.
So I think, again, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think it's a good point that you made. He's not black and white. He is like, the colours all turned down, because it's the kiss with him that brings colour back into her world. And it's, in this moment, she's very much Wanda Maximoff, knows what's going on. And the Vision that walks in, she cannot escape. When she's awake, the dream isn't real. The reality is Vision is dead. So that's the reality that she sees until she can force her consciousness back and she can get back into like the daydream. And it's really important that he's not fully grey, because he's the source of the colour for her.
I thought that's totally possible as well. That's the interpretation. It's all interpretations that we're doing right here. I thought it was just because that was the kind of colour that he was back when he died, and then because
it's only
he had
his skin though.
Yeah,
like
it's
his
true.
suit's lower res, isn't
True.
it? Not lower res, lower gamma.
I think his suit. I didn't pay too much attention.
I thought the
to his
whole
suit.
of him. He's in his Avengers suit and he's greyed out, but the colour's still there, but it's all turned down. Is that right?
I think
I don't remember.
In the Infinity War, when he does get the stone ripped from him and he's got that massive crater in his head, like in this
that's
moment,
so
right,
creepy,
so fucking creepy, and his eyes are all like grayed over as well, so there's like no life in it. They really desaturate him, not to the point where he's black and white, but he is that color.
Yeah,
and I thought it was just the moment of her like trying to cover up her memories and cover up this whole scene, but then that leaked through for a moment, and that's why she like sort of shook her head and was almost scared to look back at Vision right there. How do you feel about that, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean,
oh yeah, I'm watching it now.
The whole scene's a bit like, there's a lot of creepy. I mean, we talked about before how creepy that scene is, because I'm watching it now as we're talking about it, and sort of
the sound design as well.
It's actually it's more Vision, I feel like, that's questioning it all.
Yeah,
because Wanda sort of walks away and says, "No, this is our home. You know, I've got everything under control." And then she walks off, and Vision looks at her as she walks past him, like, "What are you doing? Like, something's." Yeah. He suspects something,
and that's the thing
Wanda.
This is the thing that makes me think Vision. She's managed to manifest Vision, not her memory of Vision, because Vision is starting to question this, and I think it's going to be him that pushes her to release everybody. But then she has to. They get to actually say goodbye, but it hopefully will be heartbreaking. Like, I want it to be really bad. I want it to put me on the edge of tears.
So sadistic.
Absolutely, because that's the point of like good romance. And this is, by the way, is one of the things that I think makes this reality not so good. Because a perfect reality can never really be any good. Because the point of good is that it's a peak and bad is a valley, right? So you need to have your bad experiences in life to appreciate when something is good. If everything's always good, nothing's good because it's all baselines out, right?
Yeah.
And it's hollow, and that's what's kind of happening here. Everything's ultimately quite hollow, and without the point of being in love with someone, what makes it so good is that it's a good thing in your life, and there's all these other valleys that this thing compensates for.
Yeah.
And without that, I think that's why the show like the show within the show, is kind of soulless and creepy, because there is no risk, there is no there's nothing to overcome, right? Like a good story, like overcoming Thanos is a great story. It's a mountain to climb and defeat, and there's nothing like that here. And so the love and the romance is kind of hollow, because part of having a partner is you have someone to lean on when times get tough. But times don't get tough.
Times don't get tough. It's just pure joy and whatever she wants to make it from.
Right, exactly, which isn't a normal relationship.
Yeah.
That's my interpretation. Again, sometimes the curtains are just red. They just are red.
But this is the fun of it. This is the fun conversation of it. Yeah, so that was the end of that episode right there. That was the end of that episode. Was there anything you wanted to bring up, Tyler, before we move into maybe some comments and a video that got sent in by a bro?
No. We've really been thorough here. We've covered so much.
I think so.
I'm loving the show so far.
The show's
episode
really
4 and 3 really kicked it off. I actually didn't watch episode 3 when it came out. I waited till 4 came out. And I watched 3 and 4 back to back, and it was
decision.
Fucking amazing.
It's brilliant.
Fucking amazing.
It's good.
Those two
I
episodes handshake so nicely.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to wait another week to do that again. I think I'm so into it now that as soon as 5 is out, I'm watching 5.
I agree.
And also, you're going to have to watch them so you could be a part of StreamCast every week as well. So
we know you'll be tuning in.
Well, okay, let's not get it fucking twisted, by the way. I will be on StreamCast every week. We talk about Falcon Winter Soldier, and you both know that.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you understand.
I actually genuinely, when we ended this, I was going to say, I assume you're coming. It's not even a joke. I was going to wait till we finished filming and say, by the way, I assume you want to be on.
No, 100%. I don't care if this is your show. I'm inviting myself every single episode. You can have other guests. You have a fourth person, but every single episode, I want to be a part of the whole season of Falcon Winter Soldier. I don't have to ever come on this show again after that. But Falcon Winter Soldier, you're talking about, this is my territory. These are my boys. This is Captain America. This is my shit. I will be on every episode of that.
Just before Falcon and Winter Soldier, there's going to be the Snyder cut of Justice League. Aren't you going to come on for that?
Yeah, no, I'd rather be dead. So that's the reality of
that's
that.
An option.
I would literally rather be dead.
That is something before we get into the comments. We haven't decided if we're gonna do the Schneider cut.
It's a streaming thing.
We'll have to leave it up to everybody if we do the Schneider cut or if we just stick that on Movie Club. I don't know.
It could be on Movie Club on our channel. We'll decide that later.
So just again to remind everybody, because the episode is not over. Huh? What do you say?
Preferably it's not on this channel, but preferably.
Well, we want to drag it to soaring heights. So, we're going to have to do it here.
This episode obviously is a recap of 4 episodes, so it's run a little bit longer. Plus, we got this anchor weighing us down.
God damn.
Tyler's really dragging it out. We're having to really be on our game to be entertaining because we got to carry. And I don't know about you, but my back's aching.
So much right here.
So normally they won't run just quite this long, but we will always be doing comments.
It might be because you're old as fuck. That's probably the reason your back's aching. And lucky there's some youth in here and some good looking youth.
Good. Look, we always see you next to Jared, and then you just look like an old witch.
Yeah. No, and that's true. Don't get it twisted. Like, Jared's a fucking biracial angel, and he's very good looking. There's no doubt about
10
it.
10 out of 10 would bang.
But
I mean, I agree.
But at the end of the day. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm still, there's no.
You're
here,
denying. And we can't deny that. You are 100% here on the show, and we congratulate you for making it this far. I think you're punching at this point, but. You are here, and
I mean, between the three of us, we know I'm punching. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yes, we do know.
So that's
we do know.
Just
heavyweight champion of the world.
Quietly,
So. Let's kick it over to the best Discord that exists, better than the 4 Pillars community Discord. We have the Conversations Discord,
That's
the
right.
best place on the internet to hang out, talk
Wrong.
about entertainment, movies, games,
Wrong.
just to chill with some good dudes.
That's where you guys can head over, which will be in the link in the description. There'll be a dedicated channel where every week I'll put up a notification, say, hey, we're taking comments for the show, write it in there, and then you get them read out on the show here so you can have your voice,
That's right.
voice your opinions and theories out here.
It is just one thing, while we're talking about the Discord, genuinely one of my favorite places to be on the internet. We don't benefit at all from anyone being on it. It's just a cool place to hang out. There are some rooms that you need to check out when you join. Again, apologies for the hazing, because I could get rid of it. I refuse. I enjoy weeding out the weak. I respect the savagery. And we get the brunt of it, so it's okay. One of my favorite rooms on the Discord is the show and tell room.
Right.
We have some incredibly talented guys on there who are like musicians, artists, creators of all kinds, and they show stuff that they're really proud in the show and tell room. It's my favorite thing we've done as a community. Forget the 4 Pillars guys. Forget those 4 Pillars guys.
Yeah.
I love
Our
that
community.
you think you have your own community. It's like you
Wow.
don't, do you? You
This
know what
is
I mean?
Wow.
our
Let's be honest with
community.
ourselves.
How dare you.
Like, you
Combros,
know what I mean?
rise up.
Like, I think it's cute. I think it's cute that you think you do, but I'm like, oh, you mean one of the branches of
I'll
my
have you
very
know,
large community that I have
The 4
fathered and
Pillars
fostered for the
subscribed
past
to us
7 years of
before
my
they were
life,
creators.
that I'm the captain
James,
of.
Ethan, the best Welford, Gerg
Yes, exactly.
were subscribers of ours before they made content. Actually,
Exactly.
I don't know if
we
George,
seeded them.
George would have been
Right.
a child at that point.
George would have been
Right.
a sperm
Then-
by then.
Yeah, then why am I your boss? That's my only question I have. You know what I mean?
Are you really though? I mean, we're bringing our own product to you because you purchased
Yeah.
it from us because you weren't talented enough to make your
Yeah.
own things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, no,
enough
but,
of
but
the
the thing is, the
shit
thing,
talking.
yeah, okay.
Let's get into this now.
The
I've
people
sent
know.
a link to.
The people
I've sent
know.
a link to both of you guys. If you guys could both open that up, this is a video submission sent
Where's
in
the
by one of our
Oh, yeah,
bros, Mario 5380. Right, he's a big fan of the MCU, and I knew I needed to get his opinion on this.
Where did
we're
you
all going
send
to
it?
watch this together. Listen to what he has to say. It's in the Discord chat.
It's the first link in the
First
Discord.
link there. Yeah.
Oh, the top. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a Google, yeah.
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
open
Okay,
that up
so
and
holy
we'll
shit,
watch
there's
that
just
all
a lot of
together?
other assets here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it was the one place that I knew you had access to, so I was like, all right, I'll just chuck it in there.
Right,
you know.
right.
Anyway, you can
Yeah,
check
cool.
that one out. And we'll watch this all together. We'll all hit play together.
Yeah.
And we can hear what Mario has to say. And you guys at home will also hear the same thing.
So we're now doing video submissions of comments and reading out Discord
and reading stuff. Yeah. If people
Sick.
don't want to do video, they can always do a text.
Cool,
submission.
man.
All right. Are you ready, good Sir Tyler?
Let's do it.
Yep. Ready.
Okay. I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, and then we'll all hit play, okay?
Right.
3, 2,
Okay.
1, play.
Hello everyone, it is Mario 5380 here, and I'm here to share my thoughts on the StreamCast Podcast about WandaVision. The first 4 episodes are currently out, and I thought they were simply brilliant. I am a big fan of sitcom, so I already enjoyed it from the start. I can understand that some people might not enjoy the sitcom part, but I did, at least. But what's the best thing about the show is the whole mystery behind it. What is happening? What's going on? That's what really drew me into the show. Now, obviously, we are the 4 episodes in now, and we see that Wanda is very in control of this, of whatever is going on. But I personally think that another force is meddling with what is happening
Hydra.
in Westview. Now, this is my question for Eddie and Sheps. Do you think that there is someone else or something else that's part of controlling what's going on in Westview? A lot of people have pointed out that it's Mephisto from the comics, but there's also a theory going on about Agnes, the neighbor. So that's my question. I personally very, very, very much love this show, and I can't wait for the next few episodes. It's gonna be so good. Anyway, that was it for me. Mario 5380 out, and have a great podcast.
Thank you, Mario.
Yeah, thank you, Mario, right there.
So,
First of all, got to say he's looking handsome as hell.
well, he's a fine and distinguished man of great taste.
Exactly.
I will say, Agnes, I knew she had a name, Nosy Neighbor.
Yeah.
From what we've seen, I don't see how it would be her, because she seems to, when she spoke with Herb outside while he was like cutting through the wall, like they seem to be
conspiracy, like collaborating to try and figure out how to get, like, she seems to be as much a victim of this thing as anyone else.
Yeah, she seemed afraid of what could happen
Right.
if they spoke to Vision about the reality that's going on.
By episode 3, I was like, okay, there could be an outside force, because we saw that Hydra soak, again, Hydra thing, and it's talking about, like, go away without going anywhere, be a goddess in your own world, stuff like that. So there, I'm like, yeah, it could be Hydra messing with stuff. I'm kind of content to believe that no one's messing with her. It's Wanda trying to maintain this perfect life. Now, maybe something put her in that state.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we saw, like, what she did to Bruce in Age of Ultron, where he disappears and goes, hulks out. But for the most part, I'm content to say this is Wanda, and I think that would be the best writing, unless they come up with something really, really fancy and spin it.
How about you, Tyler? How do you feel?
I don't have any theory of who it could be, right? Like, I don't know who it could be if it's someone else. I just think, I don't know how you can make Wanda the Avenger, this hero, the bad guy. I feel like there actually does have to be something deeper to this that we don't know about, because we're at episode 4 now, and they're telling us we already know all the answers, in the sense of it ended with Geraldine saying, it's Wanda doing this. Like I get, we're supposed to think that for a while, but there's no way we've now at the end of episode 4 got the answer. I feel like this is a show that we're going to keep getting more and more answers, and it's going to, at the end, we're really going to know why Wanda did this, and there's going to be a deeper reason. I do think there's another force behind it, whether it's a villain or something else, but it can't simply be Wanda just being upset and wanting to create this reality, especially like, that's what I thought at first going in, is Wanda creating this reality, she's upset, but there's real people getting hurt here. There's no way it's just Wanda doing this. I just can't believe that. It just doesn't make sense, unless Wanda's going to be a villain going forward, which also
I don't buy that for sure. I mean, she doesn't have to be a hero going forward, though. That's the thing. She doesn't have to continue her role in the MCU. I think she will, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. I guess it could be. Well, the thing is, if we already know something, then we should have somewhere in here the thing that tells us, okay, it's like Mephisto or whatever. If it's some big bad that, I think it's Hydra. Again, if there is a villain, I think it's Hydra messing with her, because we have that. What's the reason, though? Do you have any theories to that? It could be something to do with either wanting to study her powers, or like, we have a lot of interaction with Vision. Like, it could be some way for them to, like, study the whatever that stone was, the intelligence Mind Stone. That's it. But they did have it in the staff, didn't they? So
it can't be the Mind Stone. I think they're more trying to understand, because Wanda, you got to understand, Wanda's powers come from the Reality Stone.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was the Power Stone.
They're more trying to they're more trying to. Is it the Power? I thought it was the Reality Stone.
I think her powers are red, but I don't think they're necessarily bound to, like, the color. Like, I see how people would do that. I think it was all from the Mind Stone in the staff, because Strucker had the staff.
Yeah, I think you're
Ultron.
right. You're right.
And I think it just manifested in its own way, and she's the Scarlet Witch. Yeah. But whichever stone it is, it's come from Infinity Stone.
I thought based on her powers, it had to be the Reality Stone, because especially she's literally bending reality.
That
I guess
makes sense.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Because I think the Reality Stone was locked away by Thor's father, Odin's father, for a long time. I don't think humans had any reaction.
You're so right. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. I think then, I mean, there's got to be something. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with the multiverse that, like, I just think the multiverse is getting introduced really slowly in the MCU, because they're really trying to make sure the audience at a grand scope can understand what a multiverse is without overcomplicating it, because it'd be so easy to just make a new movie, a big blockbuster, and throw multiverse in it and just be like, figure it out, fuckface. You know what I mean? But they're really slowing it down in, Far From Home, introducing the concept of it, but it's not actually a multiverse.
I mean, maybe they're trying to...
Now WandaVision, and then Doctor Strange delving into it, but then also potentially in Spider-Man 3. So there's really a lot of multiverse talk going forward, whilst also really slowly introducing the idea of multiple realities. Even in Endgame, they were introducing the idea of multiple realities.
Or timelines,
when they were talking about what'll happen, if they take the stones from one reality and how that creates multiple timelines and things like that. So,
I guess it could be, because we've seen Hydra do, like, sleeper agent stuff before. So I guess if it is Hydra, which I actually prefer the idea that it is just Wanda, personally, but if it is Hydra, then there's nothing to say that she wasn't conditioned at some point and she's been put in some sort of weird, like dream state. And then the reason to do that, if she's powered by the reality stone, is that maybe they're trying to do an alternate reality where they, knowing how they were defeated, can go back and not be defeated, right?
Right.
That's going to be Hydra's goal. And that also introduces the multiverse stuff. If we're assuming that's the thing, that would, I guess, is the only way I can write Hydra in.
Right.
But I have no idea, man.
Frankly, it's too early to bloody tell.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
to be honest, I'm just enjoying watching it.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying being confused and not knowing what's going on. And yeah.
Can I explain a little bit about the backstory and how it gets, how Mephisto comes into this and see what you guys think about this, right? So I did a little bit of research into Mephisto and it goes back a few layers. This is all like taken from the internet, so like it's probably been watched by a lot of people. It's fact, exactly what's going on right there. So Mephisto essentially is the devil, and he can grant like deals just like the devil does and whatnot, stuff like that.
Right.
And at some point, in a fight between him and Franklin Richards, the son of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Girl, his soul gets split into 5 pieces and gets scattered, and he can't seem to find them, but he wants them back.
Right.
He tricks a guy called Master Pandonium, which is another character who made a deal with him. He lost his arm in a car crash apparently, and he made a deal with the devil to get his arm back. In typical devil fashion, he gave him his arm, but then took the other 3 limbs off of him,
right,
and replaced it with like demonic grafts, so he can like act out his will and whatnot.
Right.
But he made him think that his soul has been broken up. Mr. Pandonium's soul's been broken up, and he has to go find them. But really, he's trying to use him to find his own parts of his soul. And in this in the story, in the comics and whatnot, Scarlet Witch, as I said before, manifests the energy in the universe to create her 2 children, Tommy and Billy.
Yeah.
But accidentally takes 2 soul fragments from Mephisto. Now, if that is the bad guy, he wouldn't have been there from the beginning. There's no reason to put her in this state and whatnot. And the only reason why he has a point to come back is because the kids are there.
Well,
and I'm guessing he's seen his soul there.
Unless we get a flashback and Wanda's deal with the devil is she wants Vision back.
Could be.
She wishes to have Vision in her in a perfect life.
It's a possibility.
And then that's the deal with the devil, is that she gets what she wants as long as she stays within the reality, but it's forcing other people into that same thing. So that's but
she's okay because she gets the love of her life. It's possibility. But if it is the way that I'm thinking, where like he appears afterwards, after he notices that his souls are here and he's going to try and get them back somehow, are you not okay with the first half of this being essentially she's not doing harm? She's held these people hostage, essentially captive, but she's trying to reconcile with the greatest pain ever that she's ever suffered.
Yeah.
And she created this reality. Maybe she didn't know straight away that it would take over these people alive, or maybe she did, but she's not hurting them. They're still alive. They're still there. They just can't leave. But then later on, let's say she breaks out of this and she has to fight this big bad guy. Are you guys not okay with it being, okay, we'll just forgive the stuff that she did before because she was grieving and whatnot, and she's just a powerful person going through grief and whatnot?
I mean, I think in your version of it, you can frame it to be there is a villain. Yeah. And that's important, though, even if...
But the thing is, that villain wouldn't have caused the beginning part. So the beginning part's still on her, but is that okay to forgive? It's a tough one, isn't it?
She's a hero, innit?
That's it. She has to be... Yeah. We know heroes, the best heroes anyway, have flaws.
Yeah.
But the
Which
world
is why
still
Superman
sees
sucks.
No, I mean...
Thanks for agreeing with me. Good point, Ed. We agree.
His humanity is his flaw.
So let's continue. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. It's the only thing that makes him interesting.
That's his flaw. What are you talking about? Anyway, this is not a Superman podcast, but you're wrong. Anyway, Tyler, would that not be okay for you personally?
I mean, I guess. Honestly, I'm so okay with whatever, to be honest. I don't really have a this is one of those shows I'm really happy to just see how it plays out. I don't think it's going to be a bad ending either way. So I don't have comic book investment where I'm I sort of have what I want to happen. I don't have, oh man, that'd be bad or this would be good. It's sort of just I like, there's options here that I like, and I like that there's no bad option necessarily. Maybe some are better than others, but there's no bad option here. Whatever plays out is actually going to be quite interesting because clearly they're going to have a sort of plan of where it's going to go next, even if that is fucking Wanda's a bad guy going forward. So I don't really mind. It
also put me in a really good mood thinking about all these shows because we had no idea what they were going to look like.
Yeah.
And like I was particularly worried about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I'm still worried. It's a terrible character.
They're pretty good characters actually, and like we know
Eddie,
from
shut your
season 2 of
fucking
Altered
mouth.
Carbon. Yeah, I agree. I'm switching co-hosts. You can go to James.
Far better.
That we know they have potential. Like we know Anthony Mackie can act. Is a very strong actor. But like, what are the shows going to look like? Because they were relatively they were big for the story, but relatively minor characters in terms of like who the actor is, what they're paid, their screen time, right?
Yeah.
So what's it going to look like? Is it just going to be some crappy like the DCU, the shows, the stuff
The
made
shows,
by WB, they like The Flash.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, it's not as well written or high production as this.
Yeah.
Right. And having seen this,
This is
I'm
movie
now,
quality in TV form.
exactly. It's exactly. And now I'm really content that pretty much all these shows are going to bang.
It seems that way. It seems that way.
That's it.
Let me read
Like
a few
watching
comments from
when
our
you
Discord
watch Falcon Winter
channel.
Soldier, it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be like watching a Captain America movie, but on television.
Yeah, I hope so.
Like that's what it's gonna look like.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Do you want? We're going to read a few quick comments from our Discord server. You guys can write in just like you guys can. Do you want to read the first one? It's a Movie Club Screencast review channel.
Where is that?
Movie Club one. Audience participation.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. If you start off with Superwell Ben, that'll be great.
Where are we?
Head to the top-ish.
Head to the top. It's under the announcement, yeah?
Yes.
Superwell
Couple
Ben.
comments in between. But
Okay. I knew it. So far, WandaVision is literally the greatest Marvel thing. The greatest thing Marvel has ever produced. It's good.
It's the greatest thing, better than any.
They clearly know what they have, and they clearly know what they have.
The best thing in the last 12 months for sure.
For sure. When nothing happened.
By the way, for you guys that are new, reading not really one of our strong suits, and then doing anything on camera makes it worse. So they have the audience and they like it. Every episode seems to answer so many questions, but also make me ask so many more. I'm dying to find out what happens, and each episode gets more and more exciting. As for theories, my main one is that Wanda is creating the whole illusion because she simply wants to be with Vision and have a normal suburban life. I think she's created it so well that she herself has forgotten that it isn't real. However, there are cracks in the construction where echoes and whispers of the real world get through. Eventually, I think Wanda will, of course, realize what's happened, and I think it may end with her still wanting it back, and it could go into her being a potential villain for Doctor Strange 2. Not the big bad, just a slight problem with whatever happens in the film. That, of course, are my theories, and they change every episode. We'll have to see what happens after episode 5. So that's interesting that he says that.
So I wonder what happens.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Very
wonder
good.
what it is. That's a good one right there. Good one.
That is interesting that he
it
said
that?
that having seen episode 4. Because obviously, like, we know why she's having the cracks come in, because people are pushing messages. So
How do you feel about him saying that she could potentially be a villain for Doctor Strange 2? I think if she is a villain, which is an interesting proposition, she won't be a hardcore villain that we need to get rid of like Thanos or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think she might be, we need to get her to see sense, bring her back to reality. We get you, come back
Agreed.
to us,
There is-
Wanda, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
tell me what you guys think.
Yeah.
But there is potential here. Not only has she lost like the love of her life, but if this reality goes, she loses 2 children.
That was a question I wanted to ask. Are these children in this reality? If she is like the Mephisto thing story that I said right there, they've been manifested from the soul.
Yep.
So are they real?
I think in this reality, regardless of Mephisto or anything, they are real to her.
That would destroy her all over again.
So that's now we have some real risk.
Yeah.
And I think that would easily justify Wanda going on a rampage and becoming a villain, like a minor villain, then being talked about. Look, at the end of the day, the Hulk is not exactly a hero, right? And we see that multiple times. So all this stuff that the Hulk causes tons of damage. For as much good as he does 10 times a damage bill, right? Of reconstruction. And so that is a question. And I think having Wanda have to lose 2 kids that aren't,
God, that's so terrible.
like, they aren't real, but if she stays here, they're real.
Yeah.
Like, they will be. So they are real.
What do you think, Tyler? Do you think there's any sort of legs to this theory?
I mean, there is. Like I said, I don't really have a set idea of like, yeah, this is the way it's going to go, this is the way it's not going to go. I don't necessarily think. I don't know. I'm more of sitting where what you just said, Eddie. If Wanda's gonna be some sort of villain, she's not gonna be a big villain, and you want her to sort of see sense. She's not someone you can have as an ongoing bad guy. But also, I just don't think it would make any sense for her to be a villain. Like, sure, she started off as a villain, but by the end of that one movie that she was in, she saw sense and became a really sympathetic character.
Yeah.
The whole
She's
thing with
loved as well by
Hawkeye.
people.
If you step out there, you're an Avenger now. Losing her brother, finding a new family. And what she did. Fighting on the side of, Cap in Civil War, and really being an Avenger in Infinity War, and then in Endgame. She's a very important character now in the Avengers.
I'd also go
as a good guy.
Yeah,
So it just doesn't. It just there's some point, like, I think any theory we were talking about, she becomes some sort of villain or something.
it doesn't.
I mean,
hold
it's
water,
possible,
right?
but I don't think it would make much sense.
Because I'd go as far as to say she has had the most character growth out of anyone in the MCU.
The only
can't
other
think of
person I
anyone.
can think of is
No,
what's that
definitely
girl's
not.
name?
I mean, there's Tony Stark and
the
Steve
blue
Rogers.
woman,
They've
daughter
both
of
had,
Thanos.
I missed what
Gamora.
Tyler said. Gamora.
Gamora.
Yeah,
Not Gamora. The other one, her sister.
Nebula.
Oh,
Nebula was great.
Nebula's
was great,
fucking
but
incredible.
we only saw her for 2.5.
Her in Endgame was one of my favorite characters.
She was the star of
Star.
Endgame, in my
Absolute
opinion.
star.
She's absolutely stole the show. So she was great, but overall, I think Wanda has had. She's been in the most movies and grown consistently in every single one, which is why I said that. I think, don't get me wrong, Nebula in Endgame is incredible. Both Nebulas, very well done. It's really genuinely some incredible acting. But I think we're deeply invested in Wanda as an Avenger, as a hero, having had the character growth, going through everything, like starting as the villain, seeing what plays out, changing sides, the Sokovia Accords, everything, that falling in love, losing the love of her life, fighting Thanos one-on-one twice. Like,
Pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's had the most growth and the most consistent, her character has improved most consistently. I don't know if it would make sense for her to be a villain unless she's like being like, she's doing this, but the reason she's doing it is she's being mind controlled somewhere else,
Manipulated somewhere.
but we would suspect she'd be quite
resistant
capable.
to it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It could happen. It's got something, but it's a bit far. It's a bit far reaching. But I like the theory nonetheless.
Yeah.
Our next comment is from our boy D. He says, I really enjoyed the first 4 episodes of WandaVision. From the first 5 minutes, you can tell that this show is going to be something special. I'm glad that they chose this unique direction and can't wait to see what happens next. As for the theories, I don't think this is just Wanda doing this. She's powerful, but I don't think she's powerful enough to basically create a dimension. I would argue she's quite powerful, could possibly do it, but okay. I think that she made a deal with the devil, the Marvel character we were saying right here, and you were saying as well, making a deal with the devil, who makes fairly unfair deals. I think that he can create a fake town, but he also put a few things in there to torment Wanda, her seeing her dead vision, the Hydra logo, her having twins to remind her of Pietro, and by the end of this, she will become nuts and be the villain of Doctor Strange 2. See, another person that thinks that.
I don't know if she'll be the villain though.
This is the thing. I feel like it's got a bit more
she
legs.
won't.
Let me
I
just
don't
finish
think she
off.
will.
Thanks for reading, lads. Have a nice day. It has a bit more legs now. He has put in the thing saying someone is manipulating her into doing this world, giving her everything, giving her children, and then just ripping it all away. That could make her go mad. But Wanda is such a beloved character. Turning her into a villain is a tough thing to do.
Like, I don't want to be that guy, but she'd smash the shit out of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor
She'd
Strange.
smash him.
You powerful, and I like your parlor tricks. But
She'd smash him, bro. She'd smash him.
it's something. But don't
Especially
worry,
because-
he's capable of helping.
Because, like, this isn't Thor and Loki, right? Who have some, like, magic, but this is Wanda, you know,
Powerful.
and she's powerful and in this same sphere of abilities. So it's not like a rock versus scissors kind of thing, which Doctor Strange and Loki and Thor were, you know, where he could like manipulate them in a way. Like, she can't be messed around with those sort of silly parlor tricks, right? And she's powered by an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the Time Stone anymore.
Tyler, do you have any thoughts on that? Does it sound a bit better?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit better. But I mean, ultimately, I didn't think about this until this podcast, right? Like, I really I've just been enjoying the show for what it is.
Yeah.
But now that we're talking about it, I think there needs to be another bad guy. I don't want it to be Wanda.
She's too
The more I think
good.
about it, like, even though I just said before, I was like, I don't mind what happens, but now I'm thinking about it more and more, and I'm like, I actually don't want Wanda to be a bad
This is
guy.
what the show does.
I don't want that to be where this goes. I don't want that to be the point of this. I don't think that's who Wanda should be. I don't think that's a good explanation for what happened to her and overcoming, a difficult thing. I think there has to be something more sinister behind it than just Wanda. And I think that is what's going to happen, like I said, because you can't tell me episode 4 has now revealed our main villain of the show and it's Wanda. I think this is a misdirect right now. Having us think, oh my God, Wanda's the bad guy, but actually we're going to find out later the truth, which is not that.
What if there is no bad guy? Wanda does all this stuff herself, and the redemption arc is her choosing to give it up and to lose her husband and sons.
No, because
and when she does,
because
when
you
she
got
does
that
give
back,
up,
though, from hurting other people.
when she does give the reality up, the sons stay, and that's your Mephisto link.
Could be.
And she really had 2 sons with Vision somehow, like, because her power is Reality Stone. She made a reality true, so she has Vision with her now. She can say goodbye to Vision. She has her 2 sons, but now the risk is that the souls that
Have been taken.
and that could be enough of a redemption arc for her, because she chose to give it all up, chose to give up her entire family, which now has a lot more risk. Like, ask her to skip her twins, see how that goes for you, right?
Yeah. Some people think
it.
as well that Mephisto could be the next big bad guy that they have, that at least for in between getting to whatever the Thanos level bad guy is.
I mean, I think the devil's pretty Thanos level.
Yeah, the devil, pretty hardcore bad guy.
I think so.
Do you want to read the next comment from
Yeah,
Mark, please?
Josh says, so far, WandaVision is great. I really like the whole mystery behind it and all that stuff. I think the first 2 episodes were a bit slow, but it worked well as it introduced many questions about what's going on. I feel like parts of episode 4 could have been done using post-credit scenes throughout episodes 1 to 3. But episodes also give a nice break from the sitcom style episodes. Yeah. As for theories, I think Monica might gain some powers similar to her powers in the comics as a result of Wanda throwing her out of the bubble. I think it would be cool if this is how they introduce the mutants.
Could be.
Thanks for reading, gamers. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. So I do agree that these shows are a really great way, now that Disney owns the license to the X-Men, to start introducing and talking about and kind of retconning that a lot of this stuff is mutants in the X-Men.
Yeah.
I did see, though, this is totally outside of the show, the actress that plays Monica, Geraldine, tweeted something and people went crazy saying like they think she's going to be recast as Captain Awesome. What's her name?
Captain Marvel?
That's the one.
Okay.
So if she's the next Captain Marvel, which kind of fits because the original Captain Marvel is supposed to be a pilot, has dealings with S.H.I.E.L.D., like
now.
it fits. So apparently there's some speculation that she'll be Captain Marvel.
Could be.
But I don't know how that fits for this character. Probably this character gets discontinued.
Well, this character is the daughter of the pilot who was friends with Carol Danvers.
yeah.
And so that could be the connection.
There is a
there.
link.
There you go.
Interesting. Anyway.
Yeah.
I have a theory here. I just want to interject about the mutant thing.
Yeah.
Because to me, I don't want to see in the MCU, now they've bought a license, they go, oh, well, there's always been mutants, we just haven't talked about them. I'm like, no, you can't. I don't think you can retcon mutants in the MCU. Especially when there's the easiest way humanly possible to introduce them now and make it so natural,
Which
like
is?
it's a new thing.
What's the way you would introduce it?
They say in Endgame, they literally say in Endgame, oh my god, the snap caused so much radiation all over the globe, and that's how they tracked him. The second time for the second snap,
Cosmic
mutants
radiation.
were created from the snap.
Yeah.
Like that's where mutants are created, so from the snap.
Yeah.
So mutants are only start to get discovered in the world now, because you can't tell me that there's been mutants for decades, and then there's fucking all these superheroes we didn't
Then
know
you
about.
can't
It's like,
have
no, Iron Man was the
Apocalypse.
first fucking superhero. I guess Captain Marvel's a bit of a secret, and Captain America was the first Avenger.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. You can't tell me there was also mutants at that time. But we're not talking about it. No, we know too much about the MCU to retcon mutants have always existed.
I think
You have the snap, radiation caused mutants to exist now. You introduce them now as new concepts, and it's a new way. We've seen the old way and the old stories of Professor X and Magneto and all that shit in the 60s. No. This is not how it's introduced. Do a new way. This is the MCU. Introduce mutants in a different way and still have these characters be who they are, but in a way we've never seen them introduced before. They have to fit into the MCU. The MCU doesn't need to fit their stories.
I think that would be a good way to get around the fact that you need, like, how are you going to recast Wolverine after Hugh Jackman? Like, that's going to be tough. So I guess you have to find some other really good characters, right, and brand new ones.
Yeah.
It does mess with the X-Men in the sense that you can't have, like, there'll be no Professor X, there'll be no Magneto, there'll be no Apocalypse.
Because they happened now, didn't they? And they were previous,
right, and then
in the past.
Apocalypse suggests that mutants, while incredibly rare, have been a thing.
Since, like,
I
Egyptian
do
days
think you could not retcon the MCU, like the cinematic universe, but you could start adding in the work for it without having to address it in the movies, where we can mention that Wanda and Pietro were powerful mutants, and that's why specifically they were selected, or because of this gene that they were selected to do the testing. You could mention that we could get a flashback to what's Tony Stark's dad's name? Howard Stark, trying to figure out the serum and using one particularly special guy to figure out a way to get what he has into Steve, and just subtly address it without ever coming out and saying mutants were always a thing. We're just kind of shown very slightly.
It's a tough thing, isn't it? Because it was a real world thing where they didn't have the rights to X-Men, and they couldn't put that into the MCU because they never knew whether they would get the rights.
It just takes me out of the
they were
MCU, I think.
I agree.
I get it.
do prefer.
It'd be interesting how they do
I think the way you're suggesting it is much cleaner.
Yeah,
it's much cleaner.
I think we'll put in 2 more comments so we don't go on for very long more here.
I was going to say, how many fucking comments are left? I've done like 7 podcasts this week. It's insane. And I've
we're going to wrap it up.
Well, you made us create 7 podcasts, so it's your fault as well.
I did. It's my fault as well. For sure, it's my fault. Yeah, I love it.
Exactly.
Go on.
Summer Dylan writes that he goes, WandaVision was exactly the kind of series I wanted it to be when I first heard it was going to be a sitcom. I love how it slowly hands you pieces of information in each episode, making it so fucking fun theorizing with lads. That's what this show is all about. Glad you like it. It's also, in my opinion, a great sitcom alone. Some might not agree, but I could definitely see myself enjoying the great chemistry between Wanda and Vision and with all the other townspeople. But overall, I really like the show and all the mystery behind it. I'm excited to see how this ties in with Doctor Strange. Could Wanda turn out to be evil? Is Ralph, Agnes's husband, secretly Mephisto? Who knows? That's something as well, because we hear him mentioned a lot,
and he's quite conspicuously absent,
and we never see him. This is so interesting as well. Do you want to read the next comment?
Yeah, Ben says WandaVision is decent. Olsen is a very, oh my god, there's all these inner memes.
Olsen is very Ainsleys in this whole thing, right?
She's a very Ainsley woman, very spicy, and good show. Has some good references in there, and a good modern day. Might be better than Brotherhood.
Oh god, so this is an Assassin's Creed joke right here.
Only thing I don't like are the other side characters. All of them are kind of bad actors, and fun.
That's thank you, Ben, right there. Thank you. I love much.
That. Reading on camera is quite difficult, and when you have comments that aren't separated particularly well, aren't grouped into like different paragraphs, and include mostly inside jokes that only about 5 people get, and emotes on our Discord that we can't like show because they have to be read out, or you have to say what you're seeing, and that is half of the content of your thing is the emotes being the meaning of what you're saying. Ben, I'm not gonna lie, it gets quite difficult to read out.
Difficult,
especially while we're on the spot.
Should we read the next one just to because
let's do it.
Shall I read it?
I rock paper scissors for it. No, we can't do that. Wait, it doesn't work.
Every time we do it, doesn't work.
Just fucking read it, huh? You know what I mean?
This guy.
Listen, we're going to keep you here for another solid
This is
couple
our
hours.
podcast.
Holy
Afterwards, we're
I
doing a
was up to
debrief
2
on how we
a.m.
thought it
doing the
went.
fucking
Okay, so you got to stick
Four
around for another
Pillars
2
podcast
hours,
last night.
Tyler.
Oh my god, I got 4 hours sleep last night. Oh my god. Go on.
Okay,
Yep.
so this is a spicy
amongst
take.
it.
I don't like the MCU or anything superhero related now. You could
Now, oh shit, okay.
You could even say that I hate it. I felt they were all very samey. Thankfully, WandaVision is far from the same. It really has a unique and different experience, and I love it. The sitcom parts are actually good on its own, but the Easter eggs and references and everything in those parts, from the dialogue to the set designs and everything, they just add this extra layer of entertainment and mystery and elevate it to a whole new level. The sudden shifts from sitcom to creepiness in the last 3 episodes... in the last 2 episodes are legit amazing and feel like something which can only be done in this show. A good show always keeps us guessing to the very end, and WandaVision does this really well. There is always a sense of mystery and unanswered questions beneath all those laughs from the sitcom side of things. Personally, unlike others, I enjoyed the first 3 more with the sitcom elements than I... What? He enjoyed the first 3.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I hate episode 4. Far from it, in fact. It felt like a nice perspective change and made us understand some of the mysteries in the show. I'm pretty happy that I decided to watch the show and not skip it like I usually do with MCU related stuff. Looking forward to the future episodes.
Good stuff.
Reading on camera is really hard. I'm sorry. Okay,
So
I'm
difficult.
sorry.
I was going to say end it there, but there's one more comment after this. It'd be
Well,
really
you
bad
read
to leave
Juice's
that.
comment.
Juice says, I'm loving the series so far. I love how almost everything is relevant and how it's slowly explained more and more.
Yeah.
As for theories, obviously it seems like Wanda could be controlling everything, and she made this place up for her to live with Vision. But I also think Hydra. Here we go. I also think Hydra could be involved because of that advert, the first and second episode of The Watch, and where you can see the Hydra name on the logo of the product. So I think Hydra may have kidnapped Wanda, and maybe they're making her think this is all of this or something. So
I'm glad that he said that, and he wrote it while we were recording, so we didn't see that. He didn't know I was thinking it. I didn't know he was thinking it. That's cool. So at least there
really
is
what
one
happened
genius.
is he read
on the
it and then
Discord.
came back and it was no, I'm joking. We don't
Cool.
do that. Anyway, that's all of the questions. So all of the theories and all the thoughts right there. Thank you guys all for writing in. Thank you to our subpar guest who joined us for this episode.
Yeah, we did have to
Tyler.
work extra hard to make this work.
Sometimes it's hard to move a rock when it just doesn't want to.
Right, the immovable, talentless object.
Yes, exactly right.
Are you calling me the Rock? Thanks, man. I mean, I know I've got muscles and
I feel like
Unexpected
that.
compliment,
I'm
damn it.
I feel like you're the kind of
Yeah,
rock
yeah.
that gets tied around a snitch's ankles. You know,
That's it, that's
you
the
go
one.
into the bay.
But thank you for joining us,
I'm okay
genuinely,
with
man.
that.
It was good having you on our premiere episode, and it's glad
course.
that
That's
you
all
could
right.
make it extra fun
I'm
for
honoured.
us.
Yeah, I'm absolutely honoured. Thank you, boys, for having me on. I'm so excited for this show. I think it's a great concept. I'm glad it's got a home on the Four Pillars Network. And I look forward to watching you guys take this, run with it, flourish. And honestly, you know, there's going to be a huge audience on this network. And you guys make such great content. So I'm excited for you guys to draw those eyeballs and bring them to your channel, and more people can really see the great stuff you're doing over on Conversations and things like that. So
Thank you.
that's really
We're
good. I'm excited
all about
that
the balls
as well.
We want to get balls, as many balls on us as possible. That's the end game here.
I know.
I have to say,
I know that.
Genuinely, I'm honored as well that you came to us, because you came to us out of nowhere, and you was like, "Hey, do you want to join us with this?" And we was like, "Oh my god, you guys, this is really awesome of you."
That's actually not what happened. They came to you, somehow got the DM.
Yeah.
You said yes, and about 4 days later, I think you forgot to tell me, and
like,
you were
"Oh,
like, "By the way,
By the way,
I've
we're
agreed."
doing a brand new show for the Four Pillars Network.
Yeah. And I was like, "What's the Four
Be here
Pillars
on
Network?"
Tuesday.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, of course, I'm always down.
Exactly. It was really good, and I am honored that you guys are going. And I can't wait to see this channel
Yes.
rise up, and I can't wait to see what happens to Walshy, what happens to Joe, and all the other guys in the Four Pillars.
That's
It's
right.
gonna be really good. A good
It's
channel.
going to be
Yeah.
really good. Obviously,
Yeah.
like and subscribe. If
Absolutely.
you somehow are not subscribed, you've made a mistake. Subscribe
do that here. Do that.
and
check all
check
our links
out-
in the description. Stuff
yeah,
like
links in the description.
that. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Tyler, before we go?
Oh, I was just going to say I very
delay.
much look forward to, watching in my own time the rest of WandaVision as it comes out, but look forward to jumping on this show for Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm fucking keen for that, and I can't wait to week by week be able to talk to you guys about that show, because that's my shit. Those are my boys. Captain America, here we fucking go. Sam and fucking my boys are back. I can't fucking wait.
He's going to start every episode.
My dick will be so hard. My camera will be up here because my dick will push the desk up.
That's right.
It's going to be next
Just be
level
looking at the
shit.
ceiling.
Every episode. Guys,
Yeah.
I'm hard right now. Just let me tell you.
All the blood has left my brain.
It's going to be good.
I can't wait. And
That's right.
and thank you again for putting all this extra work in and helping the Four Pillars
course,
Network
man. That's cool.
with its launch, because it's really exciting. Four Pillars Podcast, As Always Podcast, Pastcast,
Yes.
and the Streamcast, 4 amazing shows. Plus, there's going to be plenty more that's going to
That's
develop
right.
over the years and the next few months. So check it out if you're liking this. Like this video, go to Conversations channel, subscribe to them, watch Eddie and Sheps' other shows, but also subscribe to the Four Pillars Network.
Yes.
There's so much content that's going to be on here. There's going to be 6 to 7 hours of content
Each
a week
week.
on this
It's a
channel.
lot.
That's
Plus,
a huge amount of content.
We were saying, do we pimp up our Patreon, for example? We have the Conversations podcast, which is exclusive to that at $1 tier. It's pretty good value, extra early access to some of our stuff. But we do hours of podcast content
already there.
on our channel.
Yeah.
Then there's everybody's, because all of these shows are exclusive to the FPN.
That's right.
Plus, everybody makes their own content.
It's going to be jam-packed. There's going to be entertainment for you guys out of the ears. It's going to be great.
All right. So look, if the calamity continues into 2021, which fingers crossed it doesn't,
we got you covered.
hopefully we can just let's just reset the clock. Australia can burn down all over again, and
Yes,
we'll just kick off
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, 2 charity streams in 1 year, and they were incredible.
Yeah, they were.
Can I just say that's one of the reasons I was
Yeah.
so happy to be part of this. Just freaking blew me away, the community, twice.
And hopefully you guys are going to get loads of
Yeah.
content, loads of entertainment content right
I hope
there.
you don't like free time,
Yeah, no one likes
because you
free
won't
time.
have any of that.
Anyway, we've spoken for long enough. Thank you all for joining us for this episode, the premiere episode of Screencast. And we'll see you guys all in the next episode, which will be next week, Tuesday. That's
Yes.
right. Thank you for joining us, Tyler. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, guys.
We don't have an
Appreciate
outro,
you.
do we?
We don't.
We appreciate you, Tyler. We love you.